Good evening. We're back. I've made it. It's another day. It's another stream. I'm hoping chat is working. If people are actually here. But yeah, hiya. Hi. I'm gonna check it. It works. How is everybody doing? Good evening. We're back with yet another one. Another old stream. Somehow I haven't I'm still maintaining pace. I'm maintaining confidence and guts. So we're sticking at it. But yeah, hi Vixian speaks. I want to say it's called. if I'm remembering correctly. Hi McBidens, how you doing? How you doing? Hope stuff's going well for you folks. We have, as per usual, quite a bit to work through today. I went through, I did my usual, I compiled all the news stories from recently, and I had a look at some other stuff so we can get into some general drama shit that happened, which I think is, mildly interesting. I think it's worth talking about, worth going into. And yeah, it should be fun. Hi Fudge, welcome. Your name's Ian. Oh, that Ian would be easier. Hi Ian, nice to have you. You love the drama. I'm in between on it. On the one hand, I'm quite entertained by drama, and I quite enjoy a good discussion. On the other hand, some people are like horrible to argue with and are just like horrible people to talk to, and it's like it gets very exhausting. So you gotta find like a balance there, right? But yeah, the issues as of late have been more pressing, I feel. People have treated them in a more pressing manner. I don't think the issues that we're going to be talking about in the poster is actually that pressing, but that's how people treat it, right? But yeah, that's okay. We'll get into that in a wee bit. But yeah, let's kick things off. All right, let's get right into it. And I wanna start this off. If hold on, this isn't loud enough. If everybody could like get out of your chair, kind of put your hand on your chest and get really sad for a moment, because somebody fantastic has died. Someone incredibly important. Someone, my favorite person in the world, in fact. And I'm waiting for my paywall unlocker to work so I can show you the article. Uh-oh, hold on. Okay, fuck it, here. Oh yeah. There we are. Okay. Dennis Austin, the software developer of PowerPoint, died at 76. Given that he was a 76-year-old, very rich and successful person, I do not trust him at all, and I feel like he probably did some evil, terrible shit. But he's dead. Kind of a noteworthy person. I felt like it was worth mentioning, and also I wanted to use the little taps thingy. Okay, otherwise, let's get into some more real general news, some more important, broader kind of shit. We can talk about this. So this is something that's been going on for I'm not sure if it's a multi-day thing. I believe it is. But the G20 summit. And we're gonna have a look at it, and we're gonna just break it down, because there are a lot of these things in politics where it exists, but you're kind of just like expected to know about it, and nobody ever really breaks it down. Like G20, we know it's a thing where people talk, and I feel like for a lot of people that's kind of as far as it goes, right? So what is the G20 and why does the Delhi summit matter? And this is from BBC News. The main theme for the meeting is sustainable development, but the ongoing conflict in Ukraine is also expected to be discussed. We'll also talk about that in a moment because there have been some issues there pertaining to that. Hold on, what's this? My events list is actually showing something. Whoa! We got a new subscriber. Welcome, Salus. Nice to have you. Oh, okay. So, what is the G20? The G20, or Group of 20, is a club of countries that meets to discuss global economic or political issues. Between them, the G20 countries account for 85% of the world's economic output and more than 75% of world trade. They contain 2/3 of the global population. The G20 members are EU plus 19 nations: Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Mexico, Japan, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, the UK, and the US. So it's very important. It's a very, very, very important meeting. I would make jokes about how PowerPoint costs money, and I don't like that. No, rip, seriously. It's fine. We don't know the guy. He's dead anyway. Doesn't matter what you say now. Xi Jinping was big mad, so he decided not to show up. SMH. This is very sad. Yeah, Putin didn't either. He sent his foreign ambassador. Why was the G20 set up, and why does it matter? It's also interesting. The group was founded in 1999 after the Asian financial crisis. It was designed to be a forum for finance ministers and officials to discuss ways to restore economic stability. The first Leader Summit was held in 2008 in response to that year's financial turmoil to promote international cooperation. The G20 has broadened its focus in recent years to include ideas such as climate change and sustainable energy. So, yeah, it's pretty good, pretty important. So this is just an intro to it. Xi Jinping won't attend the summit. Li Qiang, don't know, is going in his stead. Also Putin is shockingly also not going, probably doesn't want to be confronted with the consequences of his actions. So interestingly, in regards to the G20 summit, and I don't think it's spelled Li Qiang. Okay, look, I don't know. But interestingly, on the topic of the Russia-Ukraine war at the G20 summit, apparently what they did was they did talk about Ukrainian suffering, but they didn't talk about Russia being at fault very loudly, which is a bit concerning. Let me see if I can quickly find that, because I did want to talk about that. Yeah, they kind of just skirt around the issue by the looks of it. Most G20 nations condemn Russia for war. China stays silent. Yeah, but they didn't talk about it very loudly or aggressively, unfortunately. Base, we really need the idea out of our head that we need infinite GDP growth. Yeah, I mean, it's yes, I agree with you. All right, okay, let's move on from that. Let's hit some other interesting news, some other good stuff. You love to see it. You love to see it. These fuckers deserve it more than anybody. What the fuck? Who is this version of Vonch? Yeah, it's British Vosh. My shirt looks good today. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. So, great thing. Big news. Or however that guy says it. January 6th rioter who attacked police with bear spray sentenced to 6.5 years. So, fuck the cops. When they're doing shitty stuff, but when they're kind of defending democracy, that is kind of important, right? So trying to overturn democracy and go in and kill a bunch of people, which the Jan 6 rioters were attempting to do, is a bad thing. It's not good, actually. We don't really appreciate that very much. So you love to see them get a nice long sentence. I believe this is one of the longer sentences for somebody who was not like a direct leader of it. Most people that I saw, like the QAnon shaman, the guy with the big horns, he only went in for about a year in prison, I believe. So this is pretty hardcore compared to what they usually do. The people yearn to know how Teddy is doing today. Teddy is doing fantastic. Little man sitting right next to me. Actually, I'm not sure if where's she? Let's see if we can What's going on here? Oh, it's very stretched. There he is. There's the little man, little guy himself. He's sleeping right now. I'd stroke him, but I don't wanna wake the poor fella. You can't believe this? How you found out I'm British? I have a video, like pinned on my Twitter. You could tell. I'm so British. Critical support for the police. Yeah, pretty much, right? Basically, that's what I'm saying. Finally, we're getting justice on the Jan 6 shit. We have been, gradually for a bit, to be fair. Like they dealt with it surprisingly well, which is really good because how Jan 6th went and how it was dealt with was kind of it sets the tone for any other coup like that, right? It sets the tone for anyone else thinking that they could get away with that kind of thing, right? I need a dedicated cat cam. I have had one, and I might set one up again, but right now it's kind of a difficult angle. Hold on, there we are. Oh, there we are. Okay, the cable's going like right over my desk, so it's a bit difficult. A cab, it's for the Capitol Police. Yeah, they're the only ones exempt. Say water bottle. Yeah, no, I don't worry. I think that's the fucked thing, right? I like adapted how I say some English words because of Americans being terrible people. Now I probably used to say water bottle more often, and I do if I'm like around like other Brits who aren't like Southerners, but bro got Biden blasted? What? Oh no. What this okay. Whenever people start panicking in chat, I get really scared because it it reminds me of every time my stream crashed, but we should be okay. This is depressing actually. Hold on. We'll do some nicer news a little bit. Wait, let's find something positive, something nice. Ah, here we are. We got another one of these. I have the good version of the British accent. True. I have the best version. Okay, nobody else comes close to mine. Freddy Fazbear is behind me. Oh my god, chat! No way. I'm about to die. Okay, but big news. Eric Munchell, Nashville's zip tie guy. Not a good thing if you're nicknamed that. Gets one of the longest sentences for January 6th riot at the Capitol. So I was confused when it came to the other guy. This is the guy who has one of the longest sentences. Eric Munchell, known as the Nashville man known as Zip Tie Guy, has been sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison for his role in the January 6th riot at the US Capitol. Judge, wait, how long? Nearly 5 years in prison? Holy shit, that's pretty fucking solid. You can't believe there's actual people named Munchell? Yeah. I wonder where that's from. Zip tie guy is such an intimidating nickname. Yeah, what the fuck did he do to earn that nickname? Did they explain the zip tie thing? Once inside the Capitol, Munch and Eisenhart found zip ties that they carried around, which prosecutors argued they planned to use to restrain members of Congress. An infamous photo captured Munchell holding the zip ties as he climbed over the railing in the gallery of the Senate chambers, where 30 minutes before Congress was meeting to certify the results of the 2020 election. Uh-oh. Munchell moment, big Munchell moment, classic Munchell. And here's the fella. Why does he have a body cam kind of situation here? Isn't that the last thing you want to be doing? I know that everyone fucked it up during the Capitol riots, but if you're like committing a crime, like a really big federal crime, maybe don't record it, Maybe don't like post it on the internet or stream it or whatever like half the people did there. Motherfuckers want to abolish prison, where are all the fascists gonna go? Yeah, exactly. Like, this is why we do need cops, right? Like, these people exist, they are a threat to us, and we need to take care of it. Like, you need to enforce rules so these people can't, like, fucking persevere, right? Those are like cop handcuff zip ties. Yeah, he's fucking crazy. He like, this must be for like American sized wrists or something. Like, those are massive. Okay. So that's fun. That's good, and we love to see it. So there is you know, some justice to a degree, to a little degree. Now, usually I'm in favor of restraining politicians, but I did not mean it literally. Yeah. No, it's not something you actually want to be doing, right? Probably not. We definitely aren't going to get in trouble for storming the Capitol. Nah, man, don't worry about it. No, there's too many. There's too many people. They could never do that. Yeah, people were really insane about the Capitol. It's also because, for you know, do you guys know the QAnon law? Because QAnon basically is this fucking board where, you know, cryptic shit gets posted every now and then. Schizos look at it and they kind of piece it apart. One of the large themes of QAnon was the Storm, I believe it is called, which was basically this kind of big vague event that was being like hinted towards, like this kind of big violent kind of uprising where they will persevere and then take down the evil masterminds, right? And so a lot of people kind of went into it kind of going balls to the walls with it, because they were like, oh well, I mean, Q said that we'd be okay, you know, Q said that this is what we're meant to do and what we have to do, and thus I'm gonna do it. So it fucked a lot of people over. It fucked a lot of people over. Is QAnon is so good, where is QAnon 2? Probably coming. I mean, honestly, if QAnon worked, if you can get people to be that insane, then it'll probably work again, quite frankly. Me trying to overturn American democracy? No, please, I have kids. Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you tried to destroy democracy, dum-dum. Yeah, it's really fucking annoying. Like, I listened to this one guy who got deposed in an Alex Jones trial, because he was like, you know, doing awful shit and he got prison time, and he bitched about how he couldn't see his like daughter, his like 20-something-year-old daughter as well. And it was like, okay, dude, maybe just don't do horrible, evil like shit, and then you'll be fine. You just don't, you know, just don't do that. QAnon is like V for Vendetta, but for retarded baby boomers who want to throw their lives away. Yeah, pretty fucking much. Okay, let's okay, let's get into something a little bit less cheerful, because it is the news, unfortunately. We do have to cover everything. Hold on, I'm gonna take this gum out. Holy shit. My country is so fucked in USA. We have a terrible education system and a culture that values being dumb. Yeah, you kind of do. It's unfortunate. It is very unfortunate. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's move on from that topic. And let's get into something a little bit more depressing. So in Morocco, there was a 6.8 magnitude earthquake, if I recall correctly, which is pretty hefty. And it's killed over 2,000 people now, and this is by 18 hours ago. There haven't been any more updates regarding an increase in death toll. So I assume it's not in like the 3,000s or something, but it's probably somewhere between those. I think we can watch this. This should be okay. It is pretty fucking terrifying though, right? Like, you can also, because this is in quite a hilly area of Morocco. So I think a lot of villages or whatever that were like next to something, or next to like a hill with rocks on it were probably also fucked. That and a bunch of buildings collapsed, and yeah, it's pretty horrible. And a lot of people, you know, ended up getting injured. A lot of people died, and it's not something you like to see. It is an inevitable kind of consequence of how stuff's going with climate change, that we will see more natural, you know, disasters and horrible events like this. But it's not something I'm happy about. There's also this video, which was kind of cool. This, I don't know. I mean, not cool, but this person escapes free just in the nick of time, which is pretty wild. Lots of countries have declared support for Morocco. You know, they're gonna do what they can to help out. So, you know, I'm assuming they will recover from this, but the lives lost will never come back, right? So it is a tragedy, and it's sad to see. The Moroccan government should probably make stricter building standards. That was certainly a part of it. Yeah, it looked like it to me as well. You should, if you're in a place where that can happen, you need to have infrastructure that can defend against it, right? You can't just have buildings be in the same state that they've been in for like 300, 400 years. Like there needs to be change made. There needs to be, safety. Another thing, which I'm not quite sure if it's true because it's so absurd sounding, and this is once again another thing from the category of odd and strange natural occurrences. Shocking! 3 years worth of rain fell within 2 days in Greece. Right? Isn't that's like a little? It sounds quite absurd, but let's hear them out. Greece has faced a very bad weather problem. A lot of rain fell in a short time, causing floods and damage to many places. Some people died and many lost their homes and things. The rain was so much that it was like 3 years of rain in just 2 days. Okay, so was it like 3 years, or was it literally 3 years worth of rain? George, I'm not attempting that one. A user on X posted a video and wrote, "The data is now official. 3 years worth of rain fell within 2 days. Scientists on Greek TV discussing the possibility of the formation of new permanent lakes in the area. It is a new planet." Like, that's pretty fucking crazy. Like, holy shit, new lakes? Like, Jesus Christ, you know? I'm not sure if there is a good explanation for this. I mean, apart from, climate disasters being kind of, just coming up more and more. This has never happened before for Greece. There have been floods and damage, but the amount of rainfall that has fallen is really unprecedented. And this is what concerns me most about global warming, right? Because I think we probably don't know how it's going to go, how it's going to end up snowballing and getting worse and worse and worse as we get closer to, I don't know, chaos and more destruction. And this is a perfect example of that, right? Like, this was unexpected. It doesn't really make sense within the scope of what they know. And it's something they couldn't have accounted for. So yeah, I'm wondering to see how this will go and develop, and if other countries will start making moves to perhaps defend themselves against this kind of thing. But then again, if 3 years worth of rain falls in 2 days, what do you do, right? So yeah. Who pissed off Poseidon? Clearly everybody, apparently. I don't know. Probably rich people, actually, being real. But, yeah, you hate to see it, folks. You really hate to see it. It's not a nice thing. It's not a nice thing at all. Okay, here we are. This is the story. This is a news story that I got for you folks, which is a little bit in between, okay? Because part of me reads it and says, "Yay, that's good," and then the other part of me reads it and goes, "Wait a minute, that wasn't a thing yet?" And strap yourselves in. Japan to require sex crime checks for jobs working with kids. Like, what? You're telling me they didn't have that? You're telling me they just let anybody just fucking work with children, even if they're a fucking, like, pedophile or a rapist? Japan moment. Yeah. This is pretty much like, Hi, Salted, how you doing? This is pretty much like, the ultimate Japan moment. It's just a quiet admissal. What's the word? Quiet admission. There we are. A quiet admission of the fact that they do have some fucked up stuff going on. And relating to that, I'd also like to show you this graph here, which is about the number of child abuse cases in Japan. Take a look at this. So this is the number of abused people. Now, bear in mind, this is how many were reported and how many the police knew about. So it could just be that people are talking about it more. We're also seeing a decrease in fatalities over time, but quite a fucking huge increase in the number of abused people. And yeah, so I feel like this is probably more of an increase in reporting, but I also think that as things tend to get worse around the world, these sorts of things do typically, hike up. So it's not, necessarily surprising. Child abuse cases by type, lots of physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, and psychological abuse. Yay! But yeah, so at least now they're going to protect some kids from more of that by way of actually making the jobs not accessible to pedophiles and rapists. So, good job. Good job. Well done. Very pleased. Okay, so now that we got that one out of the way, let's hop back in here. Let's hop back into my list of news stories. Bro, Japan is insanely conservative. People think it's liberal because of the media, but that's an outlier. Japan is patriarchal, hierarchical, and socially authoritarian. Yeah, people just think it's liberal because they're not white people. Like, that's genuinely it. It's fucking like patriarchy Europe, and it's the angry face, and then it's patriarchy Japan, and it's someone looking happy and being like, wow, that's like literally all it is. It's the same shit. It's just fucking weebs like not really understanding how other countries are dog shit as well. Their work culture is insane. Yeah, they have the second highest suicide rate in Asia, apart from South Korea, I believe. So yeah, it's not great. It is not great. Japan being conservative is probably directly correlated with child abuse. Yeah, I mean, that and like strong hierarchies are very often related to child abuse, I feel like. Like that kind of entitlement is a consequence of enforcing these super strong hierarchies and kind of dehumanizing the other person. Which I feel like does lead to it. Like we know that, for example, in like strongly punitive like evangelical households where they're like where they spank their kids or whatever, the like rate of child abuse is also like much higher, right? And we, as we just saw, physical abuse is pretty prevalent in Japan. Okay, so let's move on to onto another topic, which is kind of interesting, vaguely. It marks a change in the world, which I find curious, and it's and it's this: dating app Grindr loses nearly half its staff after trying to force a return to office. Now, this is pretty amusing to me, like. So for one, the fact that they tried to force it and then half their staff just fucking bounced. It's also mildly amusing to me because it's Grindr, which is just inherently funny because I'm retarded. And yeah, it's interesting to see. It's interesting. Dating app, right? Yeah, that's what most people are doing on there. They're gonna definitely date and to get a real partner and have a committed romantic relationship. Oh yeah, so here we are. There's a Grindr union, apparently. That sounds interesting. Oh wait, here we are. The policy gave workers 2 weeks to choose between relocating to their respective team's newly assigned hub city to work in person twice a week or leave the company with severance, according to the Communication Workers of America. So this is the union, I assume. Approximately 80 of Grindr's 178 workers were forced to leave as of August 31st, the CWA said Wednesday. Many of these workers were hired remotely and were required to relocate to new hub cities. Wait, what? You hired these people remotely and then you got like insulted when they didn't move to fucking like New York or LA or Washington? This is absurd. You've seen a few women on Grindr? Yeah, I mean, I saw that one screenshot of somebody talking to a woman on Grindr and being like, "Why are you here?" And she was like, "Oh, well, you know, there are bisexual men here." Karl Marx stream proud haters of women. Okay. Ease up. All right, I don't wanna I don't wanna I don't want to endorse that too hard. Okay, here's a pretty interesting piece. Now don't switch off, okay? Because I know that some people are a little up their ass about this topic. Artificial intelligence technology behind ChatGPT was built in Iowa with a lot of water, and that's a pretty curious title, innit? So I clicked on this article and I had a read through, and it has some pretty fascinating insights that I'd like to share with you. So here we are. Wait, let me grab the actual important bit. Here we are. In its latest environmental report, Microsoft disclosed that its global water consumption spiked 34% from 2021 to 2022 to nearly 1.7 billion gallons, or more than 2,500 Olympic-sized swimming pools, a sharp increase from compared to previous years that outside researchers tie to its AI research. It's fair to say the majority of the growth was due to AI, including its heavy investment in generative AI in partnership with OpenAI. So this is the super interesting bit I found. In a paper due to be published later this year, Wren's team estimates ChatGPT gulps up 500 milliliters of water, so that's a regular water bottle. What's close to what's in the 16-ounce water bottle, every time you ask it a series of between 5 to 50 prompts or questions. So ChatGPT is literally out there drinking water to answer the questions, which is it's obviously it's for cooling. Here we are, just to make it clear. To keep it cool on hot days, data centers need to pump in water, often to a cooling tower outside of its warehouse-sized buildings. But it is funny to think of it as just kind of chugging. A reminder, you need to drink water. Yeah, chat. If you haven't drank enough water today, go and grab some water. Also, hit like on the stream. Okay, do both of these. Flooding the nearby area because it's USAC's chat GPT based. Yeah, get it wet. Your beer has water in it, you're fine. Oh no, I need to get some fucking beer, dude. One of these days we're gonna have a little drinking stream where we just watch something in full. Maybe the next Republican debate, but we'll see. Damn, what water is that, Max? From a fucking well? Okay, look, all right, my water bottle is downstairs and this one is upstairs and I don't care, okay? I'm drinking this. You haven't had any water yet, thanks for reminding me. That's what I'm there for, chatters. All right, okay. So that's pretty interesting. It's pretty fucking fascinating. Also, consuming 1.7 billion gallons of water in a year is fucking insane, and probably like enough water to sustain all the people who are like waterless, so that's kind of a weird situation, right, where we have this thing, this kind of cool gadget, which is basically what I feel like AI is, but it's operating off using a resource that other people are like desperate for, and they like have to labor away every day to get, also because those like getting water jobs or whatever in countries where people do need to do that, that's like all like women, right? Like those are typically jobs allocated to women. So you have these women who are like walking for like 3-4 hours a day and carrying like fucking like, I don't know, 7-8 liters of water on their head to try and help out their family. And then you just have like people asking ChatGPT to generate like an Eminem song parody of something, and that like that like uses like a quarter of the shit that somebody just carried for 2 hours. So it's, yeah. How big of a bottle of soda is that? Is it a liter? This is 125. But I'm not qualifying as American here because it's without sugar. So I'm not going to get fat like a dirty American would. Anytime a corporation does something bad, I would like to say a public ownership would fix this and not elaborate. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. If we did just like, if we were just able to regulate shit and be like, hey, you know, this inequality is really fucked up, and capitalism wasn't in a way to stop us, that would be great, and we could fix a lot of shit. But unfortunately, we are living under capitalism. Anything a corporation does something bad, I just like to say base and not elaborate. No. The GPT in chat GPT stands for giant fucking titties. True. Very true. Thank you. Okay, let's get on with it. We have a couple more to get through and then we'll be done. Hello, Mick Bidens. Welcome back. Nice to have you. Apartment rents are on the verge of declining. Finally! Holy shit! Due to massive new supply. So, one of the ways to reduce the cost of housing is to just kind of make more. And that's what they did. The number of new units is being built is at a 50-year high, with more than 460,000 being completed this year alone. This is about America, but you know, economic trends, you know, will sometimes reflect in other countries. So perhaps this could exist elsewhere. But this is America relevant. Also, given that my audience is like 70% American, I'm gonna focus on stuff from there. Yeah. So, you know, what about the poor landlords? They lose billions a day. This is so sad. Generally, my thought with housing in America is the you know, there are like 1 trillion unused homes. There's like I think like 20 times more unused homes than there are homeless people in America, which is fucking horribly depressing. But those are all homes that are owned by some investing firm or whatever, right? So that's not something that's going to get solved unless you get rid of housing as an investment vehicle. Like that, which it shouldn't be, right? Like, that's fucking absurd, right? Like the fact that like the one thing that the thing that for one person is something they have to save up for years and years to get, you know, they spend ages trying to select the right one. They try and figure out where they can go that's like affordable, you know, all that kind of shit. And then there's just somebody else who like got born into like some family dynasty and owns like fucking 600 like apartments across like fucking 4 major cities or something, you know? It's like, you know? You're gonna lurk, enjoy the stream? That's fine, no worries. 4 words, 24 letters, build more fucking houses. True. With the way to deal with an insanely high demand is to increase supply. Yeah, it's shocking. It is shocking, but that's how it works. Yup, housing as an investment is the main way for many Americans to build wealth, and it's been a disaster. Yeah, it certainly has been. It certainly fucking has been. Nobody needs more houses than what they can actually live in a year, you know? Like, nobody should have that. And if you, thing is, as well, like... So I think like 30% of houses like that are owned by people who are like using it as like a retirement fund kind of deal. And it's not like rich people, you know, this is like a kind of, you know, what like your parents might do or something, you know, they'll like get an apartment that they then rent out. And they try and get money off that, which is why I'm like not super eager to be like, all landlords are evil and terrible and need to be dead, because it's just not really applicable in the modern landscape where it is just kind of normalized. The term investment property invokes a primal disgust in you. Yeah, fair. Us Americans need to stop the car dependency. Yeah, I mean, thing is, America is unique in the car issue space because, you know, the way that America is very spread out. You know, for a European a trip to another city might take, you know, like 30 to 40 minutes. For an American, they could be driving for 3 hours before they get anywhere like close to civilization if they're living out in the Midwest or something, right? So for that reason, you know, cars can be good and they can be helpful. Hello, little man. Are you going? Is he going? Okay. Cars can be good. They can be helpful. They can be useful. but not they shouldn't be to the extent that they are, you know, like they shouldn't be, you shouldn't be driving a car to get to somewhere that's like 400 meters away because you live in a city where walking on the street is just uncomfortable because there are so many cars. That like they do need to fix that, but there is yeah, a mix. Max jump scare. Sorry, I weep a little when I think we have I weep when I think we have little rail between cities or states. Yeah, it is really depressing. If you fucking had that, you'd be like way more set. Like you could fix it. You could fix it. America has the money to fix it. I mean, there's roads all over America, you know, and if there's roads all over America, you can build tracks all over America, you know. I would hate Kansas. I mean, look, I don't dislike the thing of being in the middle of nowhere. I'm kind of fond of it. Like, it's like an interesting mix because for me, it's like partially kind of horrific sounding because it's like you're out in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's like the center of like a Stephen King book, right? And nobody can hear you scream or whatever. But also nobody can hear you scream. It's great, you know? It's great. So it's like it's an interesting juxtaposition. Houston, Texas, 1970. I meant to look that up. Where's this gonna take me? Oh wow. Oh no. Is this just like when it was just parking lots? Holy shit. Wow, what a beautiful place. What a beautiful place. I'm so jealous of the Americans. Wow, most beautiful American city. Oopsie daisy. Is it better now at least? Is it any it's greener. It is certainly greener. That's a start. And they built a fat fucking stadium in the middle there where nothing was before. Interesting. Yeah. But Max, have I considered Elon Musk build wholesome tunnel with cars? This is true. I should have thought about that. I'm sorry. Elon Musk is our savior, and he'll probably fix everything. You know, probably. He'll probably be fine. Many don't know, but Texas is literally just parking lots. Greatest country in the world, baby. Fuck yeah. That must be why I hear Americans have so many parking lot confrontations, because where else do you do the confrontation? There is nowhere else to go. There's only parking lots. Living in the Appalachian Mountains would be so cozy. Yes, they are so pretty. It's so nice. Okay. The death tunnel has gamer lights because Elon is a gamer. That means it's cool and epic. Okay. Look, if I'm gonna burn to death in a tunnel, at least it'll have like bisexual lighting, you know? Okay, let's take a look at this. This is a little story which is kind of depressing, but then again, it's kind of good because it happened. And we need this to happen. But the thing that led up to it is depressing. Oh, excuse me. Parenting advice YouTuber Ruby Frank and business partner to remain jailed on child abuse charges. So this is a mother who owned a once popular YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. You might have heard about this, folks. It's fairly recent news, but if you haven't, it is kind of interesting. Made her initial court appearance on Friday on charges that she and the owner of a relationship counseling business abused and starved her 2 young children. So it is not great. She's a family YouTuber. She is, I believe, a Mormon, if I recall correctly, which would make sense because those types do like to abuse their kids. And we have something really interesting, and that's namely the daughter of her daughter compiled a little expose. She's got a doc. And the doc is full of shit, which kind of reveals how much of a terrible person she is, and they sent this to the judge. And I just like to take a quick look over it because it's important to keep in mind, right? Because we have so many of these like crazy, wacky family channels on YouTube that we can't keep track of all of them, you know. And this was kind of just happening in the background, and nobody, I feel like, really knew about it. until now. But let's just have a look at what kind of shit gets said. Also, 8 Passengers, such a culty fucking name. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That sounds suspicious. Like, I was just hearing about a cult called the 12 Tribes. You know, like 8 Passengers? Come on. It's like a suicide cult. It's not bisexual lighting, you're getting chased down by the police for running a red light. Based. We'll crack down on family channels. That could be great. Okay, what's with the highlights? I don't know. She fucking did that. Okay, here we are. But let's have a look because she kind of explains things. So here we have episode 75, Parenting Emotional Development in Children. And she describes here very disturbing statements of Jodie about children feeling pain. Some of the things she says is pain is meant to be a teacher. It's your ally. A kid eats a bunch of junk food and feels sick and needs to throw up. Or about the kid who isn't taken to the doctor, even if he has a very high fever, because pain is a part of life and it teaches us. Can Christians stop? Can they, like, chill, you know? Can they stop abusing people? Can, you know, like, can they not do that? Can we put people like this in prison? Like, this is where the, you know, that mindset of the guy that I debated kind of comes to a head, right? Of kids not having any autonomy, really any right to not to refuse a punishment, right? And really anything being okay as long as you perceive the kid as having had fucked up enough. Here's another thing. The 2 boys, Chad and Russell, play fighting like boys do. They were both laughing, and the mother decides to threaten a punishment of withholding food. This is like a big strategy of hers. She'll like regularly do this. She'll regularly be like, hey, yeah, no, I'm just not gonna give you food today. You know, no food, not this time, you know? I think we need to get rid of Utah. That could do it. That could do it. Me when my child dies from a 100-degree fever due to untreated coronavirus, death will be his teacher. Yay! Yay! Every time I hear new bullshit from Christians, I become more strongly atheist and hate my religious upbringing even more. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I'm glad I had in terms of religion, I had a fairly, like, my parents were like atheists, but they were also like hands off about it. Like, they said if I wanted to take up some sort of belief or whatever, they'd be like, okay, go ahead. And I like chose not to. So that was nice. I had like a very laissez-faire upbringing. But yeah, no, seeing people who like were like subjected to being forced into partaking in like religious rituals and that kind of thing is really weird. We have some TikToks here. Ruby on Connections talking about leaving minors alone so she can nap. That sounds strange. Her saying that she won't feed her kids breakfast until they said they're starving. When they said they're starving, until they do their chores. Because kids famously, they do work really well if they're really hungry and they can't focus on it at all. You know, if they're in pain and struggling. I think we should make a distinction between believing in God and being a Christian. Yeah, I mean, you can. The issue stems from dogmatism, no, right? The issue stems from blind belief and faith, which is inherent to both God and Christianity. Like, there's very few religions where you'll be told, hey, believe in this God, but also, you know, if things seem wrong, then, you know, feel free to question it. The whole, like, unquestioning nature of it is really the root of the problem, in my belief. My parents are the same, and I'm very grateful for based. My retard father had me homeschooled by my mum purely to protect me and from learning anything about evolution. What the fuck? And every other scientific field that disproves the Bible. That's some fucking cult shit, right? Like forcing your kid to not be able to socialize just so you can indoctrinate them. Like, that's some fucking nasty shit. I'm sure there can be hyper-specific situations which may be justifiable, but as a rule, it's terrible. Yeah, I mean, it's just not worth it, you know? Like, there are just, as I said in the debate, there are just a million ways to deal with kids being shitty, you know? There are a million ways to punish them. You don't need to be starving them. Also, there is one thing that I think is kind of fair, which is this bit saying a kid eats a bunch of junk food and feels sick and needs to throw up. Like, sometimes a kid will do a thing and it will like suck for them because they shouldn't like have done it and it was like a bad idea, and then you let them kind of go through that process and you let them like you're empathetic about it, but you let them go through it so they understand for themselves why they shouldn't do it again, right? I think that's okay, but it seems like that's not really where she's stopping. Taking away Christmas from her children for not living in truth. That's great. Eating disorder advice. Suggesting odd repercussions for eating disorder sufferers. Let's have a look at that. My ED heads in the chat can listen up and we can learn from this lady. Actually, don't. No, remember she's a terrible person. Let's have a listen to the Wonder Woman herself, the fantastic parent, Mrs. who just ended up in prison because she sucks.
She just knows she's getting a hit by not eating, and she's getting a hit by lying about it. And you are so easily fooled that you go along with it. So what you need to do is get big and say, no, I know exactly what's going on here. I will not be lied to. And then her world needs to get really, really small.
This is crazy. I went through some similar shit like this when I was like a kid. Like I would like be having like an argument or something with my parents, and I would be like, breaking down and panicking, as an anxious, neurotic small child would. Then I would be told by my father that I was just like putting on, just pretending, and this is the exact same shit. And that's like it's such a strange kind of horribly gaslighting feeling, especially when you're a child. And it's just the fucking worst. It's genuinely horrible. Let's keep going.
I don't know if she's involved in a friend group. I don't know if she's part of you said she's not part of sports. I don't know if she's part of any extracurricular group. I don't know if she's doing after school things. I don't know what she's involved in, but you need to know more about where your daughter is. You need to know who she's around. You need to know what other influences are coming into her life.
Give her no freedom at all. No freedom ever. Just lock them in a cage, put them in a dungeon, and your kid will be happy.
Off of the phone, off of the internet, because all of those are sources that endorse and enable and...
Wait, you ever heard of Kent Hovind? That's who my dad is influenced by. He thinks the Earth is 6,000 years old. Pure delusion. That sounds interesting. We should have a look into that at some point. Okay.
Encourage.
This sounds like your mom? No, I'm sorry.
Sources of distortion and lust. Your daughter is being very controlling.
What? You're gonna accuse your daughter of being fucking controlling? After that? Holy shit. This is just like child abuse incarnate. What the fuck? Shit like this is why I say that parental rights is the biggest dog whistle that no one talks about. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, parental rights to do what, huh? It's a fucking states' rights shit again. You just want to abuse your fucking, like, who you consider to be your underlings. Like, let's be real.
Control issue. She's trying to control her identity. She's trying to control her pain. She's trying to control her who she is. She's so lost, and that would cause pain that
Oh, okay, I don't want to look at that person. She's lost because she's trying to figure herself out. I cannot think of a single reason why the child of a lady like that might develop some sort of disorder. That just makes no sense. She seems like such a good mother. She seems so trustworthy and kind and respectful. Oh god, what a fucking nightmare, man. What a fucking nightmare. Those poor kids. People like this are why I'm anti-homeschooling. Yeah, I think being anti-homeschooling is a good thing. I had like a horrible time at school partially. Like it was nicer later on, but when I just moved here because being an immigrant and stuff, it was quite difficult. But being homeschooled would have fucked me over socially so much. It would have stunted my shit incredibly. There's a video of her husband taking the oldest son's phone and reading out his messages with his crush to the whole table, laughing at him. Same kid also didn't have a bedroom for 4 months. Holy fucking shit, dude. That poor kid. I developed an eating disorder myself because of my own parents. Oof. Oof. She seems so good though. I mean, if a child is being a little shit, you should be able to cut them off from their lives. Yeah. Yeah. Homeschooled at 7. Oof. Yeah. But this shit's fucking evil. And I believe it's what, 6% of kids in the school system who are homeschooled in America? So it is a pretty fucking sizable quantity, you know, like that's a few million kids who are going to grow up to be, you know, insane and stupid, unfortunately. So it's not good. You kind of you hate to see it. We can go through more of this. I don't really see it getting anywhere else. It's kind of, here we are, yeah, about reading kids' journals and stuff. We got this bit. We can have a look shortly. Oh no, this is the whole thing. Wait, what?
Generalizing it. Hey, if you have anxiety, it's probably because you need to be liked.
Okay, wait, I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure what's going on here. This was linked to be about reading the kids' journals, but it seems like a whole thing. Okay, you know what? We got two more things to work through, and then we'll be through with the news section, folks. We've done it. Poggers. Get ready, strap in. It's about to go dark mode. Well, more light mode, actually. This is light, Brandon. President Biden keeps Hunter close despite the political peril. And, I can't lie, this is quite heartwarming, you know? As somebody who's, like, struggled with, like, addiction, that kind of thing, the concept of being, like, ditched after it gets bad, you know? Or, like, something, you know, embarrassing, like, gets out into the public or whatever. And especially if your dad's the president, you wouldn't be surprised if he was just like, you know, I can't talk to anymore, Jack. But, and yet they do. Which is it's pretty cute. It's quite nice. It makes me happy to see. Cause I don't know. I've grown unwillingly. I've grown quite fond of Hunter Biden over all the all the shit that conservatives whipped up, right? Like he just seems like he kind of wants to chill. He seems like he's a very troubled individual. He's fucked up from having a dad who was a vice president and now a president. And it's, you know, I get it. I think most people would be in that situation, right? If anything, the Hunter Biden stuff makes me like Biden even more. He seems like a really good guy. Yeah, exactly. Like that makes me like trust him, you know? Biden has been so base. Yeah. Max, we know you think about his cock. I don't know if I've actually seen Hunter Biden's cock yet. I can't remember. I've looked at a lot of pictures of Hunter Biden, like the little videos and montages and stuff. But those, because they're usually made by conservatives, I think they're afraid to show his cock, right? They'll be like, no, we can't. They'll get too impressed, you know? So, yeah. But I'll have a look at some point. Okay, we have a really interesting final piece to look at before we're done with the news section, and that's this. Opinion: one of America's most popular politicians is a Democrat in Kentucky. Now this is pretty wild, actually, believe it or not, given that Kentucky is quite a conservative place. Let's see. The great surprising news is that a fairly progressive Democrat is thriving politically in one of America's most conservative states. The unfortunate news is that his formula for success probably isn't replicable for Democrats running for president in other red states or even here in Kentucky. Which is it's a very suspicious opening line. When Andy Beshear was elected governor of Kentucky in 2019. It looked like a fluke. Incumbent Republican Matt Bevin had annoyed just about everyone with his arrogant autocratic style. Even then, Beshear won by just 0.4%. It seemed likely that the state's voters would quickly turn against the Democrat. But that's not at all what has happened. Beshear is considered a slight favorite in his re-election run this November because Kentucky's otherwise very Republican-leaning voters really like him. Polls show the governor's approval rating around 60%, with more than 1/3 of Kentucky Republicans praising Beshear's performance. Which is pretty fucking crazy, right? So you'd think this guy has to be like a fake Democrat or something. This is how he like stacks up to Biden, McConnell, and Rand Paul. Like he's doing really fucking well, and he's got a really low disapproval rating as well. And it's not just that Beshear is a Democrat, but he's a firmly pro-abortion. He's a firmly pro-abortion rights, pro-LGBTQ, pro-union, and pro-racial equity one. Beshear is not in the mold of Senator Joe Manchin, a red state Democrat who constantly emphasizes his disagreements with the party. The governor's policy stances are virtually indistinguishable from the ones most Democratic officials hold across the country. So what's going on here? I need to get a Tucker soundbite of him saying that. What's going on here? I'm honest, and I will admit that I like when conservatives talk about Hunter Biden because they always show his cock. Based. MTG literally held up a pic of his skin bat in Congress. She would do that, honestly. She would love that. Some of us should run as Republicans in those red states, but be secret commies. True. Get on that, chatters. Okay, I don't know if I can do that because I would be a migrant in America. I know I can't run for president, but maybe I'll have to become governor. Have I considered the median voter is incoherent? Yeah, I mean they kind of are. But But sometimes they aren't, and sometimes there is a reason. Like they are incoherent, but they are incoherent with like a slight degree of purpose. Like you can usually kind of track back where their incoherence is coming from, even if it like doesn't make full sense. So yeah, I'm not quite sure why he has this approval rating. There are a few suggested, possibilities here. Most importantly, he's an incumbent governor. Governors are popular right now, so maybe comparing him to Biden is like a bad idea. The average governor has a 57% approval rating, along with a 34% disapproval, which is almost exactly what he had. So this is interesting, but he is the most popular, even if they are doing quite well. So it's just an interesting situation worth keeping our eye on and being aware of. That conservatives are capable of voting for somebody who isn't like, hey, I need to kill every single minority, right? So I think that's a good sign, especially if it's Kentucky doing that. So yeah, you need to be a citizen for like 5 years and at least 30 years old here in New York for the governorship. Okay, I'll move over in 5 years when I'm like 25, and then I'll run as soon as I'm 30. I'm gonna pull in Arnold. I want to say his name, but last time chat gave me shit. Arnold, the strong German man. Okay, or the strong. Is he German or is he Austrian? I want to say German. Okay, folks, we have made it through the news section. We did it! Holy shit, folks! Good job, poggers.
Do not come.
I'll give you this.
I'm gonna come.
There we are. Okay, we did it. We're through, and now we're gonna get to some real meat. Okay, in a non-strange capacity. And we're going to be talking about some shitty, terrible, awful, good for nothing Twitter drama. Okay, and this is the shit that I involve myself in with on a far too regular basis and consumes far too many of my brain cells. And yeah, I continue to do it anyway. Here we are. This is a poster made by at Blue Wolf, Blue Fulf, in fact. And they said, I put up posters for trans rights around my town to fight against transphobia. And the way they fought against transphobia is with a big tittied blue wolf and a little skirt and a trans flag and saying trans rights are human rights. And this is let's not jump around it. This is silly and it looks kind of stupid, right? It is that, okay? We can totally accept that, right? What we can also accept though is that if we take a look at this, right? If we're like actually looking at like the tape job here and how this looks and like the fucking like the amount of ink that got used on printing this out, they didn't do many of them. They probably did like 7 and then they ran out of printer ink. Like this is not a real problem on a larger scale. But let's have a look at how people responded to it. This is this is a response to a response. So this the initial response is coming from Sammy Depresso, now Semi Punished, saying there's literally nothing wrong with this and I don't know why people are mad at them. And then at Olive Oath, a known trans med on Twitter who is quite annoying, said, I'm glad you support trans people being hate crimed, which got 42 likes for some reason. I'm not sure who these people are talking about who would go around, see one cringeworthy poster, and then decide to murder a trans person. But to me, that argument sounds exactly like 99% of every other victim blaming shit I've ever heard, you know? It's like why you get assaulted? What were you wearing, you know? Like, did you have anything on that's like slightly, you know, short, because this is the same shit, you know? It's like, did you do anything slightly reprehensible? Like, yeah, you did something cringeworthy. But that doesn't mean that, like, people are going to be hate crimed. Doesn't mean that you can expect that to happen. And it doesn't mean that if it does happen, that's actually like a justifiable like reason for it or like a justifiable cause of it. It means that there was an insane person who saw a post and then did something insane. You know, it's an insane person issue. Olive Oath, isn't she one of those trans doomer types? Yeah, she talks regularly about how much she hates trans people. And it's just like horribly depressing. It's just really, really, really sad, you know? We'll get to my response to that in a moment. I'll just walk you through a couple more responses to the initial poster, just so we can kind of get a feel for it. Here's Pausefish's response saying, probably not a good idea to associate your marginalized group, often accused of being groomers, with a fetish. Which is, in my eyes, it's a big old fucking stretch. I don't necessarily... Thing is, this kind of imagery, this kind of shit of having some cartoonish figure like be like sexy or whatever and then say some sort of slogan, you know, whether relating to social movements or whether relating to other things, it's an age-old thing. It's a very old practice, you know? It's been happening for a fucking while. And this isn't new, you know? And this also, it's not like on a large scale. And it's also... this is like, I don't think this is like, you can call this a fetish, you know? I don't know. I mean, it's obviously, it's a little skimpy, furry kind of thing, but like that's, I don't know. I don't think this necessarily constitutes that. If that were the case, you could call every Disney animal, like anthropomorphic animal who's like kind of mildly like sexy coded. Like you could say like Judy Hopps is actually like a fetish because she's got a fat ass, you know? Like you can't be doing that on literally anything. It is annoying to see. It is annoying to see. This is cringe as fuck, but let's not accuse this person of Minecrafting trans people. Yeah, basically that's what my opinion boils down to. You think she tried to sue them? With invalid L's. Oh, they tried to sue invalid L's. Yeah, Blue Fulf apparently is somebody who pretty regularly gets into drama. Let's have a look at one more response from somebody else before I give you before I drop in mine. This is from Mr. SDL, Socked on Left, saying, this shit is cute and people getting mad about it are cringe. Over 95% of people haven't text banked, canvassed, or put up flyers for pro-queer causes. Do the work before putting other people down. You know, I think that's an okay point. You should just call people stupid, really. It shouldn't really matter how much they've organized themselves. But yeah, people saying like, you're fucking killing trans people when they're the ones who probably stay silent all the time, and you know, end up probably inflicting harm by not actually, you know, asserting their presence or building a community or kind of asserting that by, you know, being like, hey, here's some posters, and then other like trans people will walk around, they'll see that, they'll feel more, you know, safe, secure, etc., etc. You know, there's a lot of benefits to doing that kind of thing, even if it is super duper cringy. The togetherness of it is really is worth it, in my opinion. Wasn't this a literal one-off poster for the tweet? I'm not sure if it was one-off. If it's not like just a one-off thing, then it's like gonna be like maybe 1 in like 10 of them, but it's not gonna be many. So yeah, Bluefolf made a funny poster, and the psyops keep distracting us by making us fight each other. It feels like it. So here's what I said. Here's my take. I said the amount of stupid takes over this poster have been absurd. It's beyond ignorant to think that someone as innocuous and as minor, something as innocuous and minor as a few posters around a city is going to suddenly convince someone to assault a queer person. Trans meds continue to make insane choices for who they choose to blame, and this is responding to Olive Oath, because she said, "I'm so glad you support trans people being hate crimed for Sammy saying it's not bad. Check my damn notifications." Look, my notifications get like that every like 20 minutes ish. I'm not gonna check them right now. But yeah, so, and then a lot of people came for me on this one. Luckily, I got 126 likes. I nearly got ratioed by Cambodian Towboy for a second, who said, yeah, it's not like the main narrative against trans people right now is that they're perverted, sex-obsessed groomers. Let's never call anything out. Who cares that the average normie sees a trans person as someone who uses litter boxes? It's no big deal. We're overreacting. And I was a little bit kind of annoyed at this, because this is coming from somebody who pretty much their entire account almost is dedicated to like it's dedicated to satire, and he is funny, right? But also probably about 30 to 40% of his jokes are about trans people, and they're about like how like, you know, trans women are actually, you know, not women or whatever, or how they're like actually sex toys or whatever the fuck. Like, he is constantly saying shit that will reach way more people in total, right? And yet he's fucking out here woke scolding about a fucking poster. And I said, how are you the one saying this? You make jokes that go way beyond possibly distorting how people's view of trans people and how sexualized they are. Now, I don't believe that his jokes are bad or necessarily. I mean, some of them are, some of them aren't. Or that he shouldn't be able to make them. I think that everyone should be able to do what they want, and you shouldn't be a cuck. Right? So he said, and then I said, you have absolutely no right to say a couple posters are somehow committing real damage if you think the satirical shit you post doesn't. He argued more. He said, it's almost like my jokes are making fun of that horrible shit. Yeah, I told him that I can tell what's a joke and he can't. Or I can tell what's a joke conservatives won't be able to, and thus it doesn't really matter if he's joking about it or not, because they don't fucking care. They don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. You're a trans girl, you get to say the T word. Base, good for you. W. But yeah. So it's just it's a very frustrating and stupid situation. And also, this is coming from a lot of the anger that I see around this is coming from people who are trans medicalists, and that's also why I added the last little line of my my post saying trans med continue to make insane choices for who they blame. As this is a theme that I've seen repeatedly from these folks, where they'll see one trans person doing something they consider cringeworthy, or something that they wouldn't want to have their own identity attached to, or something like that. and then they go and say that that person is like ruining transness for other people, and they're ruining their access to civil rights and that kind of thing. Like they totally misfire on figuring out who to blame, and they constantly do that all the time, like on a regular basis. Like I argued with a person who claimed that progressives have been the ones who are at fault for the kind of the rolling back of trans rights in recent years. And that's like the most stupid, fucking insulting, disgustingly ignorant shit I've heard in a while, right? Like that's like fucking disgusting when you get to that point of rejecting reality in order to blame other people who are actually like also fucking trans, right? Like they talk about how they're like actually like you need to be trans med to save trans people or something, when they're the people who are actively like bullying trans people who they seem to be gender non-conformative and not be transitioning hard enough for them, you know? Like trans meds are some of the fucking worst, like most like evil dog shit people on the platform I've like come across, fucking genuinely. They remind me of pickup artists that say you can't have autism without being diagnosed, so that they stop claiming to be autistic. Yeah. Yeah, like really, are you gonna make every single fucking person go to a doctor who's probably like not even like as qualified in them in understanding gender to like figure shit out? Like please. Transmedicalism is a disease that rots the progressivism in your brain. Yeah, it like literally is. It's also a fucking like it's a very conservative stance, you know. All it does is further like enforce gender roles that we're trying to get away from, which is like a large portion of the trans movement. But they don't understand that like the fucking like constant like pushing on us of being like you have to be like this, you have to look like this if you're a guy, you have to look like this if you're a woman, if you're non-binary, you should be trying really hard to get away from your birth gender, like or your birth sex, like whatever the fuck, you know. It's stupid, and they need to Minecraft, okay. Okay. Yeah. Got them. Okay, they're all gone now, folks. We did it. We solved it. But yeah, oh my god, they drive me insane, and they're so hateful and angry that it makes it really hard to have good conversations with them. But we do have a candidate, not a candidate, like a real candidate, but we do have an individual from the transmed community who we will be talking to in the coming week. We're going to be talking to, take care, Regine. We're going to be talking to, on Thursday, if everything pans out, we're going to be talking to Oliver, the trans fella, at the Omnipuna on Twitter. You'll know him from his depressing, angry trans med posts where he bitches about things that don't really matter. Yeah, I've talked to him a bit in private. He seems like a good faith individual. If anything, kind of, I don't know. I see him as like with a lot of these people. I see them as victims to a degree. Did I tell you to take care? Yes, I did. Yes. Stonewall failed because we didn't have a united front against hate. Yeah, I mean, if we didn't have like fucking 30 different factions, we would probably be way better off, you know? Transmeds are kind of just lost people. Yeah, exactly. They're victims, and it's always them trying to kind of push their own, you know, values and ideals onto thingy. Okay. I misread what you said in chat. Never mind. But yeah, basically, this is fucking stupid, and people need to stop being brain dead about it, because it's not helpful and it's not constructive, and it's kind of just loser shit. But okay, folks, we did it. This is another W, actually.
And perhaps what is this? In life, there's roadblocks.
So we made it. Another one down. Another topic through. We survived. And now we're going to move on to the videos section Okay, and what I have for you is I have a couple of options. We have we've got two creators to select from, and one of them is going to be PragerU, and the other one is some incel kind of creator I found, who or a right wing. I'm not sure if this is an incel. I get incel energy, I'm not sure. Or somebody who's kind of going to try and debunk libertarian socialism for us. So, you know, either one works. So I'm going to let you folks vote. We have the option between PragerU and Internet Incel. And yeah, we'll get into whatever you folks vote for, whatever you'd like to get into. Prager bores me. We need incel. This is some pretty classic PragerU content. Okay, all right, okay. Jesus Christ, you folks are very eager for the for the incel content. Okay, let's have a look at got 8 votes in. We'll settle for that. We got a 75% in favor of watching the incel. And we'll drop into it. Okay, so this is a video entitled "Libertarian Socialism Debunked." And I am fascinated. Me being somebody who identifies themselves as a libertarian socialist, I'm strapped in. I'm ready to go, and I'm deathly afraid because it's probably gonna bring an end to my whole political career on the internet. So let's have a look.
There are a lot of political ideologies out there that you may have never even heard of. Minarchy, geniocracy, technocracy, things can get pretty obscure. But there is one political system in particular that really stands out. Libertarian socialism. It has all the best things.
Because it's base!
Libertarianism, free agency, not having the government tell you what to do with your life, no one to tell you.
You can't tell if you're a libertarian socialist or democratic socialist. I mean, democracy is inherent to libertarianism if you view it. Depending on how you view it, in my opinion, it belongs together, though. Those are two things that coincide.
To live, no one to force their subjective ideas onto you, free spirits, free love, and it all comes with the best parts of socialism too, without the government taking full totalitarian control of everything. So now the means of production.
We're about to get hit by something now, I can tell.
Communally, no one has to worry because each person in this society is given to according to his needs, and each person is only expected to give according to his own ability. Wow, what a paradise. And despite the lack of government intervention, you still get all these great perks and benefits, a progressive wealth redistribution, all coming from coming from you, of course. You there, you have too much. You're
Wait a minute. This is okay. He's already doing the fallacy that every single fucking like anti-socialist person does, where they pretend that every single person watching them and every person in their political ideology is actually someone who's like rich. They're actually all Elon Musk, you know? Every single one of them is going to be the person who gets robbed by the government, and it's definitely not just going to be like fucking like 2-3% of the population who gets their shit like taken from them because they have too much.
Farm has been deemed too big. Your house has an empty room. You're not using that boat so often. The voluntary forfeiture of your private property is required now for the good of the collective. Yep, as the old saying goes.
My mum is gay. Wow. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris. That's Chris, my childhood friend, coming and say my mum is gay. My mum watches these streams sometimes, by the way. So if you got in at a bad moment there, you could really fuck things up between you guys. I'm just saying, be careful.
If it sounds too good to be true, there's a good chance it's nonsense. In this video, we will be exploring why libertarian socialism...
Yeah, no government intervention is also really confusing. How are you going to do socialism without government intervention? What are you talking about?
The political idea that cannot actually exist due to the premise...
I'll get my free healthcare from God, not the government. See, this is what it's about. That's what the lady was trying to teach us before, the 8 passengers lady. She's very reasonable and normal. Like, bro, I want lower taxes for most people. It's like the ultra rich, I want tax a lot more. Yeah, like I mean, I think beneath like a certain income level, if you're not making like, I don't know, more than like fucking, I don't know, at least like, let's say like 25K a year, I don't know, I think you should be paying that much taxes on it, or like any at all. If you have rich people who are being taxed appropriately, you don't need that.
premise being inherently
That is
self-contradictory.
caste, that's right.
It promises to give you the best of both worlds, but in truth, it is a classic case of trying to have your cake and eat it too. First off, let's look at the definitions of libertarianism and socialism from Lexico Oxford Dictionary. Libertarianism, a political philosophy that advocates only minimal state intervention in the free market and the private lives of citizens.
It can exist. The word libertarian just means maximize freedom, while socialism is just the social ownership aspect. It's fine, and I'm not even a libsoc. Yeah.
And socialism, a political and economic...
If you earn under like 20k a year, you don't pay any income taxes. That's fucking great. For me, if I earn over 550 euros a month, I'll get taxed for that. It's pretty brutal.
Theory of social organization, which advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole.
Let's put some 125
just with
in.
the definitions, we're starting to see the problem. It's not possible to decide who owns what without some kind of structure of power. So
Wait. Let's read this through again. Libertarianism is political philosophy that advocates only minimal state intervention in the free market and the private lives of citizens. I mean, this depends on your fucking like perception of libertarianism. I mean, as Fudge said, in my mind as well, libertarianism is the ideology of ultimate freedom, and if you want ultimate freedom, you have to have the government step in to protect people from the non-free parts of life. You know, things like having to get food and that kind of thing. Like those are all like those are all obligations. Those are all less free, right? So if the government takes care of that, then you are being more freed. And that's like annoying. You don't like the idea of ultimate freedom? I mean, it depends on what your idea of it is, I guess.
communal regulation effectively just...
Honestly, the main issue here is that both libertarianism and socialism are broad ideologies. Yeah, that's also the issue, and he's trying to like boil it down to this like this very limited thing.
State regulation, which contradicts the basic philosophy of libertarianism that the state should not be intervening in the free market. Socialism is anything but a free market, and is nearly guaranteed to result in a large, powerful state. I even did an entire video earlier on how Marxism creates a pipeline to corrupt governments. A link will be in the description.
Yeah, that's also another option that we had. We could have watched that one, but I know why fucking like Stalinists are gonna become dictators, but like yeah.
Well, this again displays the uniqueness of our problem. Normally, going over definitions in an argument is just a standard good faith act to ensure your stance remains fair and objective. But in this case, we can immediately already see how libertarian socialism is kind of what you'd call a self-debunking theory that can't actually exist in real life. You cannot...
This is only true if you're stupid. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Guy was looking up the definitions for libertarianism and for socialism. You can just like find the definition for libertarian socialism on the internet as well, you know? Like this is it's a very real and accessible thing. It's not fucking like true that there's like that there's no fucking like way to figure out what this could possibly be.
Not have both a state with...
Is he an anarchist? I think this guy's an ANCAP. I'm getting anarcho-capitalist vibes.
And no state at the same time. It makes no sense. A market cannot be both free and as far from free as possible at the same time.
Well, being far from free in some people's eyes is freeing the market for other people. I mean, that's like... Again, this guy's arguing from the position of the like 2% of people actually benefiting off the like capitalist system. Yeah, I'm a market socialist who advocates for fund socialism and a democratic government. There are libertarian who explicitly don't believe in democracy. Lol, freedom though. True. It's so freeing when you don't get to decide what happens in your state.
Now, in a sane world, we could probably just end the video right there. The core idea of libertarian socialism results in a direct logical contradiction. Case closed, end of discussion. But of course, we don't live in a sane world now, do we?
Oh, no, we don't live in a sane world. We live in a clown world, I think he's might be getting at here. It's a little dog whistle for you folks.
Not. In fact, this is where the madness truly begins, as there are multiple spin-offs.
I remember watching an anti-SJW video on why Wolfenstein was woke. He was mad that BJ teamed with anarchists against the Nazis. That literally happened. Didn't anarchists literally fight Nazis in Nazi Germany? I'm a bit confused. Wasn't the flag the anarcho-communist flag? Yeah. He is using like the communist and the anarchist symbol for this. I'm not sure if, yeah, that doesn't really line up with what any other libertarian socialist is using, so that's a little confusing.
Libsoc,
He
anarcho-syndicalism,
conflated anarchists with Bolsheviks? That's fucking stupid. Oh, he does have the Wikipedia. He knows about Wikipedia. Okay.
libertarian Marxism, anarcho-communism, stateless socialism, the list just goes on and on. All flawed in some way, but the sheer magnitude of it all can make it a difficult mountain of non-
You think that's the anarcho-communist flag? Let's see. Anarcho-communist flag. Wait. It's the other way around, I believe. Right? 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 Wait, black on the bottom. Oh wait, no, it's the same one. Interesting. Okay.
sense to unpack. It's almost an ideological version of the Gish Gallop, where these guys keep churning out so much new subjective theory.
Also, he was mad that the Texan father circa 1919 would be displayed as an abusive racist. No way, really? No. What?
On a treadmill of fail that if you tried to focus on all of them on a case-by-case basis, your refutations would be too large of a case of TLDR and get lost on people in a sea of confusion. Fortunately, there actually is a common critical flaw that all of them share, a basic root cause of the problem. And to understand what that is,
Oh, this is it. This is the root of all fucking like political idiocy. Okay, not all of it, but a large portion of it boils down to the fact that people saw the political compass and now they have a dog shit understanding of politics. Like, I swear to God, bro, I fucking swear to God, it's so stupid. Let's wait, but I this person's probably gonna say some absolute fucking dumb shit.
the political compass.
Libertarian socialist being portrayed as a horse, interesting.
A big part of why this strange dogma seems to be gaining some traction is likely due to a flaw in the most popular version of the political compass, and many compass memes have already noted this flaw. The issue really
Okay. He recognizes it's flawed, maybe?
boils down to what freedom essentially is. The vast
Shut
majority
up.
of freedoms
Shut
can be
up.
boiled down to two categories. For one, your personal rights are what freedoms you have as an individual. In other words, your right to self-agency, self-defense, and freedoms of what to do with your belongings, your property rights. An example that combines the both of them would be, say, your right to defend yourself from a robber invading your home. Imagine if you did not have such rights. They could just move into your house, steal everything you own, physically assault you, and you would have no recourse. So while different cultures and societies may agree on different things, there is a pretty good reason why versions of thou shalt not murder and thou shalt not steal tends to be present in just about every stable society and multiple religions. Most political stances can therefore be broken down to where they draw the lines for these rights, based on how much control the state gets over said rights, and for the most part, it ends up looking like this. So this brings up the question, why is it that
Oh, God. Okay, he's not differentiating between property and personal property, though. So this is a big part where we see what he's doing fall apart, right? So if we're talking about, you know, socialist theory, and what, like, how property is treated, then we have to be aware of the fact that, you have to differentiate between personal and private property. Private property is shit that you don't use, but it's stuff that you own. Things like you know, if you did invest in like some fucking housing that's like in like several cities away and you never go there, like that's private property. Like that's like capital. Personal property is things that you know, things you own, things you regularly use. I feel like you could argue that houses would be considered under this, like if you had a house that's like, you know, yours and in the family, and you know, live in it and you regularly use it, or like a phone, you know, food, you know, the items that you do actually use, you know. So let's see. Here it says that you have no personal rights and no property rights. It's kind of true. The more authoritarian you get, the less personal rights you have. Far right, authoritarian right wingers having property rights is that depends on who you are, right? If you're not somebody who they like, you probably won't have that. Libertarian right wingers having both personal rights and property rights is pretty insane. When personal rights wouldn't really be able to be upheld, and neither would property rights, really. So, seems suspicious. And at least he acknowledges that libertarian leftism does allow for personal rights, but apparently no property at all. People always act like the state is bad, but corporate entities can be just as authoritarian. In fact, they can be worse. In the USA, the government is democratic, unlike any corporate unlike any corporate entity. Yes, true. It's like the degree of control that they have is absurd. Like, you have a lot of companies that are like a lot wealthier than like countries. You know, like how insane is that? Right? Like, they have more fucking money than the combined output of like tens of millions of people.
The stance that does not respect property rights is considered just
And yet, like, these people are just like, yeah, just take control of me. Just, you know, just do whatever. I don't want anyone to stop you. That would be awful.
as libertarian as the stance that respects both personal freedom and property rights. And looking at the authoritarian side, why are the conservatives who only restrict personal freedom as authoritarian as the side restricting everything? This paradox happens due to the test that the compass is based on, allowing people to choose things that are contradictory. You can answer strongly agree to questions of anarchy and strongly agree to large state welfare programs, and it's okay with that even though it makes no sense. Fortunately, I am not the first person to realize this, and there is a better political compass that outcounts for these.
I mean, I feel like, I'm not one to argue in favor of anarchy, but if you have an anarchist society, then they probably would have some sort of welfare system way of them, like, distributing the shit within the society. Or, like, the fucking commune or whatever the fuck they have. I love democracy and that's why I'm a socialist. True! Me! Relatable! I believe in private property so much that I want everyone to own a chunk of wealth built by a social wealth fund from a corporation majority owned by that fund. That's the dream. That's the dream. That's what it's all about.
Errors, achieved by flipping the compass around a bit on its side. Behold, the advocates for self-governance version of the political compass.
This is legal.
Along with a simple 10-question test that has been taken over 20 million times and well known for high accuracy despite its short length. This makes a lot more sense. Those who value the free market but desire regulation for keeping tradition are considered conservatives. Those who desire a welfare state but respect individual liberty are labeled progressives. Those who took the test while drunk are considered centrists. Those who desire a strong government are authoritarian. And finally,
at least I can respect that, okay? If he's gonna go after libertarian socialism, at least he shits on the centrists.
who respect both of these type of freedoms are the actual libertarians. So where does libertarian socialism fall under? Well, it's only 10 questions long, so let's take a look while basing our answers on the musings of a well-known libertarian socialist / anarcho-syndicalist, Noam Chomsky. Now, on the personal issues, I will actually just rate all of them as maximum freedom for the purpose of good faith. So let's move on to the economic issues. Taxpayers should not be responsible for student loan debt as a first question. Well, Chomsky spoke very highly of a free open admissions college in Mexico City, stating,
Chomsky's one of those dudes that just needs to, like, it's been long enough, okay? It's been long enough, okay? You've been talking for a while, okay? You've been saying your opinions. I think it's time to wrap up, okay?
that it's how college ought to be, open to all the community. And as we all know, free things are not actually free. Somebody has to pay for it, so that's going to be a hard no. Next one, government should not be responsible for providing.
Free things aren't actually free? Wait, I mean, yeah, that's why you get rich people to pay for it, you fucking idiot. Yeah, I mean, we know that things cost money. That's why we want to tax the rich.
Healthcare. In a February 2013 interview with Washington Square News, Chomsky criticized Barack Obama for not going more towards a national healthcare system, going as far as
he lives a good life. He needs to go to a farm in Kentucky. Yeah. Look, hey, don't worry. We're just gonna take Noam downtown, okay? He's just gonna go there. He's gonna go there for the weekend, and if he really likes it, he's gonna stay there, okay? Don't worry, okay? We're just taking. We're just taking Noam away for a bit, all right? He'll be okay, I promise.
Obama of being a moderate Republican, so that's also going to be a very hard no. Next up, let people control their own retirement, privatize Social Security. In 2005, for Khaleej Times, Chomsky criticized Bush for even considering.
Most of my knowledge on Chomsky, other than the Ukraine stuff, is his take on if animals are capable of language from Can Coco Speak video essay. Ah, that's interesting. What's his take?
Reforming it, so that's going to be another hard no. Next up, replace government welfare with private charity. Chomsky strongly defends state welfare in Z Magazine in 1995, another no. And cut taxes and government spending by 50%.
Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, he's filling it out according to what he said. Okay.
More. Well, here Chomsky criticizes how our tax.
Coco sadly couldn't speak. Yeah, I mean. Wait a minute. Let me find it. Oh no, my pipe. Wait, let me find that real quick. Wait, Coco's longest sentence. Okay, wait. Okay, guys, are you ready? Are you ready for this? This is about to be really special, okay? This is Coco's one sentence. Give me orange. Give me eat. Orange me. Eat orange. Give me eat orange. Give me you. It's beautiful. Wait, Nim Chimpsky? Nim Chimpsky? No way. Wait a minute. Is that... Oh my god. No way. Nim Chimpsky. I would like to think that Noam came after Nim Chimpsky, and it's actually a play on Noam's name is actually a play on the chimps one. Oh, that's Nim's sentence, not Coco's. Uh-oh, was it? Oh wait, yeah, it is. Wait, why did it give me Nim's sentence? I don't know. Ah, okay, all right, that's fine. we'll just stick to that one. Let's keep on with the video. Didn't Coco say something on climate change, and it was obvious because gorillas can't think about climate change? Well, I don't know about that. Hey, I'm going to finish up a video about this exact video. Oh, that's nice. I hope I'm not. Hope I'm not content vulturing. It's taking so long though because I'm lazy. Thanks for covering this, Kyle. No worries. I'm happy to. But yeah, no, I get you. Making videos is fucking exhausting. I used to do it like when I was much younger. I would edit videos on my shitty little PS5. On my little, not PS5, sorry, PS4. You had the Share Factory thing, which is like this terrible editing software, and I used it. I like made videos and stuff, and it took forever. But yeah. Oh, that's the wrong thing.
Are used, but Chomsky has also stated that April 15th, tax day, should be a day of celebration in a democratic society. So again, hard no. I did
Shit, little PS5. Okay, Max, shut up.
the test for many of the spin-off political positions of libertarian socialism as well, each time ending up in the progressive area, never significantly diverging by more than a couple squares, really. This is the critical flaw that all forms of libertarian socialism share. As long as you are honest with the test questions and take logical equivalence into account, they never make it into the area of libertarianism. So if the libertarian
But that's it's only wrong if you can't understand it, right? This is the typical the idiot's flaw, the fool's mistake is they assume something is stupid because they can't wrap their head around it. But in reality, he's just kind of a dumbass.
socialists aren't actually libertarian, then what are they? Well, what we can glean from the previous testing is that these people are really just pretty much confused progressives, who are stuck somewhere between communists and neoliberals, but refuse to actually commit to any cohesive ideology.
Okay. Well, also let's clap back at this, right? Let's say that we go with his theory of libertarianism, and we remove as much state control as possible, right? So this means, I guess, I wonder to what degree he means. You could get rid of cops, okay? You'd have no one else there to protect you. You could get rid of all government regulations, you know? You could make, just have them put whatever the fuck they want in food, sell you whatever they want. You could just make them, be able to hike their prices as hard as they want, whenever. With no exemption, let them put medicine at whatever price they want. It doesn't matter. It's a free society. So how is that then ultimately more freeing than like a society in which you actually get these things provided to you and you don't have to fight like every fucking Coconut Island coconut collector who's got like 1 trillion of them and you've got like 2,
When no longer allowed to choose
Libertarianism is when you like mass debt, no retirement, and climate change isn't the greatest argument for the ideology, I think. Yeah.
contradictory things that make no sense, they ultimately just end up defending the same things that you would expect any normal socialist to defend. The only difference is in how they say it, and their strange belief that labeling themselves as libertarians somehow legitimizes what they are saying. So the only difference between them and the more self-identified authoritarian left communists, or tankies as they're sometimes called, is that they understand that a totalitarian state has a 0 chance of ever transitioning into a free, or at least a more democratic state by its ruler's own free will.
Okay. At least he understands this, right? Like, he got that one correct.
Generally, tankies will argue that a strong party must be established.
It's a free society in the sense that you're free to pay us the price that we set. Yeah. Yeah, literally. Literally. I mean, the only people who are free are the ones who are in power, which in an ANCAP society is just the corpse. Oh my god, the trauma is coming back from watching this bullshit over and over to debunk it. Yeah, I can imagine. When you see these a few times, it gets very terrible. I can also imagine you hate the music as well. I'm starting to gradually set in my brain how much I dislike the little like it's stop, bro.
For the collective to work towards the goal of communism, which they define as a stateless, moneyless, classless society, where the means of production are owned by the workers. The libertarian socialists will generally argue that this step should be skipped entirely, and people should just directly work towards said stateless society.
The freedom to sip on unfiltered water in my lead paint house while walking down an unpaved road, praying that my payment for the private police went through. Yeah. Yeah, literally, that's the dream. That's freedom, baby. That's real libertarianism, you know?
anything resembling a Maoist-style CCP as both an unnecessary and detrimental middleman. The irony here, though, is that both tankies and libertarian socialists are actually both half correct. Tankies are absolutely correct in that socialism requires the establishment of a strong communist state party to get off the ground, as expecting people to consistently give up their property rights voluntarily is unrealistic, pie-in-the-sky nonsense.
That's not correct, though. I mean, they believe in a strong kind of like a removal of the democratic system in order to enable it. That's what they believe in. They don't believe in a strong party. Like regular socialists advocated for a strong party, like Marx advocated for that. But by that they mean like a strong like actually organized regular party that's not going out to like kill people. It's not like vanguardism, right? Like that's the primary difference there.
And the Libertarian Socialist is absolutely correct that said strong government party will never be able to voluntarily dissolve its own institution of power, as expecting a party with absolute power to just give it up for free is equally unrealistic. Now, if only these people would put 2 and 2 together here and realize that this means the communist utopia will never arrive, we'd all be in a better state. The explanation for their confusion can be further understood by the work of KGB defector Yuri Bezmenov and his explanation of the concept of useful idiots, which is a term used to describe
No way. This guy's about to tell us about what a useful idiot is. That's helpful.
the leftists who genuinely believe that Marxist and socialist ideology is compatible with a free and peaceful society. They do not understand why communal ownership of the means of production inevitably ends up just being state ownership private property every single time. And I suspect that's where a lot of their confusion comes from. A failure to understand that the only way this kind of perpetual wealth redistribution makes sense is with a strong state, or something that at least serves the same function to the degree that the difference is insignificant. Or in Yuri's own words, the useful idiots, the leftists who are idealistically believing in the beauty of Soviet socialist or communist or whatever system. They serve a
communist utopia will never arrive, but ANCAP utopia will. Yeah, exactly. The guy has to be that, right? Like, there's no way he's something else. Let's see.
Purpose only at the stage
Good night, regime. Take care.
of destabilization of a nation. This is why once the communist totalitarian state is on its way towards being established, they either join the tankies via the revolutionary to tanky pipeline that always appears during said revolution, or they are lined up in the street and gunned down with the very bourgeoisie they thought that they were fighting against. This is effectively the unfortunate
He's a Hopian. Oh, I'll have to look into that one.
truth to what libertarian socialists truly are, along with their ultimate fate. But of course, they don't like this reality, they don't like this fate, and so there are many excuses and theory crafting they have come up with, which brings us to the next section. And probably the most important section of this video, refuting libertarian socialist arguments. I'll start this off with what is
strap in, folks. Get ready.
by far the most common thing that you will encounter, arguing semantics. This isn't too surprising since the very definitions of libertarianism and socialism being contradictory and all, the only way for them to get around this is to thus try and redefine said definitions in their
Well, that's only if you're stupid.
own image, and then just gaslight until their new definitions are accepted as reality. Aha! It's not the government man coming to forcefully take your private property away, it's a member of the syndicate, utilizing direct action. Such difference, much anarchy, wow. Aha!
That's not what libertarian socialists are arguing about. Debate Ethan right now. Look, I will. If he wants to come on, I'll debate the shit out of him.
word libertarianism was used
Also, hi Abe. Welcome. Nice to have you.
in 1858 by a libertarian, communist, French philosopher guy, so even though the meaning of the word has evolved and is completely different to what it is used by the actual Libertarian Party today, we get to call ourselves libertarians now. Aha! It's not violent coercion, it's justified revolutionary self-defense against the bourgeoisie. Aha! It's not
Wait, how the fuck? Wait. What? Wait, this. Huh? Through the chat, I put you on the TV. That's where I belong, baby. That's where I belong.
taxes, it's a moneyless society.
Ethan, is that the name of this guy? No. Ethan is the name of Cambodian Towboy, the person who I mentioned being a dumbass earlier.
With social credit. Ah, it's not a welfare state, it's just a communal gold pile guaranteeing everyone gets free stuff. Thank you for your mandatory donation, by the way. Ah, it's not insert random authoritative measure here, it's the magical theory cell hamster that serves the same function but is totally not the same because he's a magic hamster. The general problem with arguing semantics here is that it almost always ignores the concept of logical equivalency.
I mean, this is just a guy not understanding not understanding anything. Also, like when it comes to like libertarianism and that kind of thing, you have to be aware of what rules you have to enforce to maximize freedom, right? Because if you don't enforce anything, then you're just going to end up having no freedom at all, because just, you know, whatever the natural order is will take place, right? Like if you're in a libertarian society where there's no control over anything, no cops, no regulation, there's going to end up being fucking you're going to have like the strongest guy just be able to do whatever he wants to whatever other citizens, and they can't really defend themselves or whatever. Like, you need to have some authoritative measures in order to give people freedom. Like, you have to, because you have to prevent these unfree aspects from coming up.
Things that are effectively the same procedure between political systems cannot, in good faith, be argued to be seen as reasonably different. Replacing the state with some random communally enforced, decentralized, hodgepodge, Franken-theory giant hamster system that has exactly the same power that would normally come from an authoritarian state and does exactly the same thing doesn't mean you get to call yourself.
No authority will bring back primitive societies, which will evolve into feudalism. Yeah, it literally would. Like, if there was like just a power vacuum and they didn't actually have like a proper government, it would just end up being regulated by different groups that would end up just being tyrannical because they're not regulated, right? And because they're independent of the government. Blair White is the MLK of the modern trans movement. Oh my god. Is he unironic on that? Like, I mean, I saw his one tweet about how Blair White is the most successful trans advocate right now. And what? Is he actually operating on like 12 brain cells, or is he joking?
Minimal government. Arguing semantics really just changes nothing. Even if we were to give them what they want and let them redefine libertarianism in their own image, all it would do is change what their sector of the political spectrum is called. It would just mean that we would now have to find a new word for people who support both property and personal rights. It would be a completely moot point. And no, the libertarianism meant something different 100 years ago spiel is not an exception to this. Political positions and meanings naturally do change over the course of history through many decades of time, but not because those definitions are forced, but because the state of geopolitics changes. You probably wouldn't take someone seriously if they called themselves a Democrat while their political positions are all aligned with the Democratic Party of World War II, and they advocated for segregation and other such things, because those positions don't make much sense anymore as the world has changed dramatically since then along with the Democratic Party. No one would consider such a person a Democrat, so why should anyone consider these people libertarian? Next up, but we want voluntary worker co-ops, man.
Wait, but he's saying that definitions do change and develop, but only for him. Wait, so they can move, but not necessarily? Towboy Bridge burnt? Oh no. I like him. I'm fond of him. I just think he's stupid. Like, I'm not gonna burn the bridge, you know? Like, I'm sure he thinks I'm probably kind of stupid as well. But that's fine, you know? Like, as I like to say, people should have the right to be stupid, and we should feel sympathy for them.
That's all we want. Just about all socialists of all creeds, not just libertarian socialists, generally resort to a Motte and Bailey fallacy at some point in time. For those who don't know, a Motte and Bailey is somewhat the...
What the fuck did bro just say? Was that fallacy?
That's all we want. Just about all socialists of all creeds, not just libertarian socialists, generally resort to a Motte and Bailey fallacy at some point in time.
What the fuck? What's wrong with you, bro? You never learned to speak?
For those who don't know, a Motte and Bailey is somewhat the reverse of a straw man argument, where instead of dishonestly misrepresenting their opposition, they instead dishonestly misrepresent themselves, retreating to an easier to defend but wildly inaccurate and watered down version of their own position in an attempt to dodge criticism. The most common ones you will see from libertarian socialists is that, hey, LibSoc is just worker co-ops. You aren't against worker co-ops, are you? Or how about unions? Only greedy monsters would be against a worker's right to unionize. Regardless of whether or not you believe unions and co-ops are good, the argument here is completely invalid because it's an attempt to obfuscate what socialism actually is.
This is crazy because this is exactly what ANCAPs do. They just say, we just want smaller government, you know, we just want less control. When in reality, this is pretty much exactly what they want, right? Destroy the entire system by a violent revolution. They want it. These people are often, you know, like associated with like militias or whatever. Force everyone to conform to your beliefs. Yeah, this is pure projection.
Which is really just a communal ownership of the means of production, and is thus a far cry from what they are presenting. Corporations already...
Only a greedy monster would oppose a union. They raise wages and suppress income inequality. True.
have the right to operate as wholly owned or be a co-op of some form if they so choose. So this voluntary aspect already exists today. Unions and co-ops are not unique to socialism, nor do they require Marxian economics in order for them to function. So the...
Well, I mean, that's because we live in a mixed economy where you can have companies working somewhat cooperatively, but even so, they're probably 99% of the time they're not operating on like the degree of cooperativeness or you know, workplace democracy that is like described in socialism or by Marx. And it's rarely actually like applicable the way that this guy is acting like it is.
The entire point again is moot. Them trying to pretend otherwise is just pure misdirection from the truth, which is that socialists don't actually want it to be voluntary. As soon as you're not looking, they'll be right back out on the Bailey saying that we should all be forced to act this way. Next, the ultimate goal of libertarian...
Yeah, I don't understand why a libertarian would be anti-union when that's like a super libertarian thing, right? Like rallying together or like, you know, being a team against the bigger, scarier thing. That feels like something that a libertarian should like, you know? Like that feels like it should be right up their alley. Also because like, if you want to remove government, you need to have more powerful like individual power, right? So why would you then oppose unions?
And socialism is a stateless and classless society, therefore we get to call ourselves libertarian. This is a typical sleight of hand where the socialists will try to include the success of their ideology as part of their ideology's definition. True communism has never been tried because it's not a stateless, classless, monolithic utopia, then it wasn't true communism. Yeah, no, that's BS. Just because people want a nice outcome doesn't mean
this guy keeps on jumping. This guy keeps on jumping between libertarianism is exclusively this. These other things are kind of whatever I want them to be. Definitions are constantly changing. But also, if you fuck with them, if you try and do semantics, you're wrong. He's constantly contradicting himself. And funnily enough, the contradiction is his whole fucking accusation of why libertarian socialism doesn't work. You heard I'm talking shit? Look, I would never talk shit about you, Oliver. I've never said a mean word about you in my life. Hi, welcome. Nice to have you.
the proposed process towards reaching said outcome automatically makes sense.
I think I was actually quite nice, honestly. I spoke about Mr. Cambodian Tobal, I was a lot harsher there.
Similarly, the process of libertarian socialism involves stripping people of their private property rights, which is an extreme far cry from what the actual Libertarian Party platform believes in. Them claiming to be libertarian, not based on their actual activities or actual beliefs, but because of some desired pie-in-the-sky end goal that they have in mind, is really just a spin on outcome bias, a false form of thinking where the process is judged based on the outcome, or in this case, a desired outcome.
Is he saying that libertarian socialists are the only people who are idealistic? Because everything that this guy has said, and especially the political compass that he showed at the beginning with all the ticks and crosses, implies that he believes that anarcho-capitalism or right-wing libertarianism, which I presume would be that, I was extremely condescending and patronizing, but go off, baby, love you. Yeah, I love you too. Yeah, I'm sorry. It is how I am, unfortunately. Don't take it too personally, though. But if we argue and you prove to me that I shouldn't be condescending and patronizing, then I will stop. But until you have to earn it, now when your friends are dumb, sometimes you gotta be harsh on them. What's going on here? Oh yeah. Libertarian socialists are pragmatic though, not idealistic. What's he talking about? Yeah, I mean, some of them I feel like are more idealistic, but most of the time libertarian socialists are very pragmatic.
Next up, capitalism.
I mean, that's kind of like inherent to like fucking the Marxist perspective, right? Is in like encouraging pragmatism and analyzing situations properly, and not just through like an ideological, like a purely ideologically driven view. I'm not sure if that's the right way to word that, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Fascism. Fascism doesn't mean anything anymore. Wait, thinking where the process is judged based on the outcome, or in this case, a desired outcome. Next up, capitalism is fascism.
Oh, I mean, this is a Stalinist thing. This is a Stalinist lie, where they basically just said, capitalism is actually fascism, and anyone who's like encouraging capitalism is encouraging fascism and is therefore a fascist. I mean, this is what they said to kill like the social democrats and that kind of thing. The fuck is this title card? That's a great question. What the fuck is this title card? Capitalism is fascism, so that makes us the real libertarians. 1-1. Wow, he's a real funny guy, this one. Wait, hold on. Ooh. There we are. They loved it. Okay. Alright.
Fascism doesn't mean anything anymore. So many people have abused the term that the top scholars and historians can't even agree on its basic definition. That's what we get for race baiting.
If we want to talk about early Marxism sometimes when it comes to pragmatism and idealism, because I did a lot of stuff related to that. And early Marxist movement split off First, Second International, etc. Oh, I see. You want the stimuli? We can gradually introduce some stimuli. I can give you I'll give you Geometry Dash, okay? I'll give you Geometry Dash for now.
For the most part, most at least agree that it's some form of extreme authoritarianism, which is the opposite of what the free market is. So not only is this just blatant ad hominem with no real point, it's an ad hominem that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's right on this.
Socialism is compatible with libertarianism if it's voluntary. This actually would be a valid point.
That's not like an argument that people make, though. I mean, I feel like that's an anarchist argument, if anything, trying to say that society should be voluntary. But I disagree with that. You should be forced to comply with rules that you know, democratically agreed upon and make sense.
If it wasn't for the fact that in today's political climate, it's a complete and total lie. I have watched many breadtubers and read some of the more popular theory. All of these people are advocating for a nationwide political system, no voluntarism. For the extremely few people out there that actually would be willing to go make like the Amish and create a voluntary commune with 100 or so friends out in the woods, sure, those are the very few people that can have their lib social arc. But let's be reasonable.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead of this.
Basically, libertarian socialist will try to argue that trade in a free market is
Oh, wait a minute. He's debunking the Coconut Island analogy.
and therefore, by being against the free market, it is in fact they who are standing for freedom. First off, this claim is just flat out historically inaccurate, as countries with democracy and free markets have a track record of doing far better for the common man than socialist or communist countries. Second, a simple way of explaining why this is nonsense is to refute one of the more popular and somewhat recent analogies they use to try and prove this, known as the Coconut Island analogy, originally conjured into this world by a certain debate bro. The analogy goes like this.
Imagine suffering a plane crash above the ocean with only you and one other passenger surviving. Both of you get washed up on a deserted island with nothing but sandbanks and palm trees. Once you wake up on the shore and look around, you notice the other survivor's footprints. Looks like he woke up before you.
God, I just heard, I heard an anarchist just say if the people in the anarchist society wanted to recreate the state, they can. That's funny.
As you explore the island, you find him sitting on a huge pile of coconuts. Turns out, while you were unconscious, he went around and collected every single coconut on the island for himself. Coconuts that you would also need if you don't want to starve. Of course, you could go and try your luck catching some fish along the shore, but according to statistics, 9 out of 10 starved fishermen end up dying of hunger in the end. The coconuts are your only realistic chance at survival. So you ask him, can you give me some coconuts, please? And he says, sure, I can give you some coconuts, if you suck my dick.
Such a classic analogy, man. It's so good. I love it so much.
The problem with the Coconut Island analogy is that it's actually a far more accurate description of communist dictatorships than a representation of a free market. No, really, think
Well, I mean, yeah, but Volsh is against both of those, so why does it matter?
about it. The guy who owns all the coconuts is the only thing representing a state here, so a totalitarian government owning all the means of...
I mean, the difference between like a hyper-capitalist and like an authoritarian capitalist and authoritarian communist society is just like who has the control, right? It's whether you have corps having the control or states having the control. Both of these things are bad, and that's what libertarian socialism is trying to get away from. You can't just say one of these things is bad, so therefore we're gonna go for the other thing that's actually also really shitty, but we want it anyway. The Coconut Island analogy isn't a critique of capitalism, but a critique of starting point inequality and disparities amongst people. Yeah, I mean, you can apply it to anything like that, really.
Production, check. Moneyless? Well, the coconuts just represent food here, something countries striving to communism tend to have a problem with. In a free market with money, you are generally able to use it as a trade medium so that you can perform other work rather than being forced to act as the state slave. So again, this analogy is far more accurate for communist dictatorships. Classless? Well, you don't have any classes here except for the slave and the state, which again is far more representative of communism than anything else.
The markets leave people behind, the elderly, children, disabled, students, etc. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have any like alternative apart from partaking, then yeah, a bunch of people are gonna be fucked.
The main logical flaw here is that the Coconut Island analogy doesn't actually point out any problems with private property. Rather, it's displaying problems with monopolies.
What?
This is known as an ignoratio elenchi policy.
Dude. Yes, those are fucking two parts of the two sides of the same coin. What the fuck are you talking about?
Where the argument and
You think monopolies would exist without like property, whether it be government or corporate property?
conclusion are disconnected to the point. Free countries with free markets have been proven to be far more effective at mitigating monopolies, with many right-wing libertarians and conservatives even agreeing with each other that anti-competitive business practices that lead to monopoly should be viewed as forms of aggression. Now, compare this to socialist states that legitimately turn the entire government into a monopoly that owns all the coconuts by state force. Saying private property is bad.
That's not what socialist state is. That's not what they would do. That's what an authoritarian communist state would do. They wouldn't steal all the coconuts. They would take coconuts from people who have like 6 billion coconuts and should have some less.
Monopolies are bad. It's like saying drinking water is bad because too much can kill you via toxic hyperhydration.
What?
It's an unrealistic scenario that proves overconsumption is bad, more so than its actual intended point. And that...
I mean, yeah, but that's not disproving anything. That's proving the point that monopolies are bad. You can drink too much water and it can be bad. It can kill you. What? This guy keeps on making like every point for me by being a fucking idiot. All states have a form of cohesion, and corporate entities also have forms of cohesion. What the fuck is this video? Yeah, everything is coercive.
That wraps it up. In conclusion, libertarian socialism truly is an oxymoron. Nearly all of the excuses in its defense tend to rely on some form of judging their ideas based on goals that rely on the success of their
I'm confused.
ideology
Me
rather than
too.
any legitimate
Me too.
process. So they label themselves as libertarian based on the misguided pie-on-the-sky ideas that make absolutely no sense whatsoever when put under scrutiny, such as how they are totally really sure this time that communal ownership of the means of production will totally not end up being state ownership this time. Spoiler alert, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be state ownership every time because collectivism still must be.
I mean, that's like, it's still not, I mean, people mean, usually socialists mean, when they're saying that something's going to be like community owned or whatever, if they're talking about it, they're usually talking about like the local government having a structure in which people are actually involved in it, and they therefore own it. Like, it's therefore community owned. It doesn't mean that the community is just going to own it without any like government involvement.
Represented and therefore can't actually own anything. Taking two concepts that contradict each other and claiming that they are actually fine together because it will just somehow work out in the end, despite a complete lack of evidence or sound rationale to back that statement up, is simply not honest reasoning. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff.
God. Okay, I think I just lost like 16 trillion brain cells. My lord. Holy fucking shit. Wow. So that was interesting. What can we compile from that? So what did we learn? We learned this guy doesn't know what libertarianism is, or he thinks it can only look one way. We learned this guy thinks socialism equals authoritarian communism, even though he portrayed the political compass before. I think he might be saying that the political compass, yeah, he might. I think he was saying that that's contradictory and bad, because what leftists want isn't actually going to give you any freedom, because you need government control to enforce freedom. But yeah. Okay, so this is basically just if you have any rules, that's bad, and actually all the rules that socialists want would affect actually everybody and not just rich people, which is wrong, shockingly. Have I seen that Argentinian ANCAP candidate? I have. Yeah, he seems pretty fucking wild, pretty fucking insane and unhinged. We have, okay, we now have an option. I have some classic Prager videos, or we have one more video from that guy about feminism. And if you want, we can also do something else. So let's here we are. I'll do Prager. Oopsie, Prager, this guy, or something else. The PragerU videos I have are bangers. I'm sure we could find something else if we wanted to, but it would take like a moment. Yeah, give me your votes, folks. Let's get this democracy going, you know? No way. You guys want more of this guy? Really? Look, if you folks want it, okay? I'll listen to the people's will. Okay. Oh wow. Interesting little set of votes here. Okay, I'm gonna cap it out at, oh, okay, we got one more vote. 8 votes in. I'll close it out here. Okay, so 62% of voters said that they would like to see more of this guy. Okay, sure. Let's get into it. Okay. We'll go for it. This is, oh my god. We okay, look, if this video gets really boring, we will ditch it because it's 36 minutes long. But let's just go for it. So this is a video called How Paleo Libertarianism Fixes Feminism. Which is a pretty crazy statement. Let's look up what paleo-libertarianism is so we can make sure that we got a proper read on this. Paleo-libertarianism is a libertarian political activism strategy aimed at uniting libertarians and paleo-conservatives. It was developed by American anarcho-capitalist theories Murray Rothbard and Lew Rockwell in the American political context after the World War. So paleoconservatism is a political philosophy and strain of conservatism in the United States, stressing American nationalism, Christian ethics, regionalism, and traditionalist conservatism. Okay, so by paleo-libertarianism, we mean probably not actually libertarianism at all, and just a totally other thing. You know, I'm starting to think that last video that this guy made might have just been a projection about how he's fucking constantly making shit up. Women's rights, that's contradictory. True.
And women are not just the same. I have come to the conclusion in the meantime, unless you have been frequently attacked to be a sexist, a homophobe, a racist, or something like that, then you should ask yourself if there is something wrong with you.
Alright, I know what you were thinking.
Wait, what did you just say?
A race have been frequently attacked to be a sexist, a homophobe, a racist, or something like that, then you should ask yourself if there is something wrong with you.
Yeah, he's right. If you do get attacked for being a piece of shit, maybe you're a piece of shit.
Alright, I know what you were thinking. Really, Mentis, a feminism video in the current year 2023. Didn't the internet's already go through this phase roughly 10-something years ago? Well, yes. The problem here is that as the dust settled,
Here's all those things? Yeah, literally.
thousands of different stances on feminism that came to be, unfortunately, most of them kind of ended up in 3 camps. In the first camp, you have the authoritarian trad stance. Women should have no rights at all, be totally subservient to men and owned by their husbands, and be legally barred from any employment other than homemaking and raising the next generation. This stance is usually coupled with some hint of authoritarian theocracy. In the second camp, we have the manosphere. Lol, bro. Just channel Sigma male energy, and they will like you, bro. Waste your money on expensive cars you don't need, bro. Fake it till you make it, bro. Judge your entire self-worth.
I really want to debate this guy, quite honestly. I think he would be really interesting to talk to, because he seems, he's really riding that fine line between, like, total dumbass and somebody who's actually capable of, like, talking and communicating their ideas. And I think that would be a good time. Maybe I'll see if I can try and reach out or something.
On how much putang you can get from this kind of lifestyle. Finally, in the last camp, we have the blue-pilled white knights. Come to share with us their brilliant
Just the human trafficking, bro.
Feminism good because equality good. And equality good because, well, you're a bad, sexist, mean person if you disagree with us.
Wait. This guy's whole argument is that he doesn't understand why equality is good and nobody's explained it to him yet? Whoa. Minsak, I didn't know it was gonna be this bad. You should have warned me. Holy shit, this guy's awful.
Now, let us free our fair maidens from the evil, heteronormative patriarchy, and we shall do this by fully adopting the opinions that are considered most trendy within mainstream journalist circles. Okay, maybe I am strawmanning these positions just a little bit, but let's be honest here. I'm really not that far off.
Why is he arguing against equality with gens? I don't know what's happening. I'm so confused.
Mark. The sad thing is, all 3 of these positions have some nugget of truth to them, which immediately begs the question, is there a position on feminism that combines these truths into a stance that is based on reality and rationality? One that is both pro-freedom and anti-degeneracy? And that is what this video is going to be about.
Anti-degeneracy. Pro-freedom and anti-degeneracy is a oxymoron, in my eyes. The concept of degeneracy and having to control that is an anti-freedom idea, right? In a real libertarian society, people would have the right to be degenerate, just as long as it's in a way that doesn't, impede on the freedoms of others. Like, there is no, this is not possible. It's not applicable. We found the medium voter. I don't. Yeah, maybe this guy's that. I don't even know what this guy is. I'm just confused, frankly. Equality is good because you shouldn't treat people badly because of immutable characteristics as it causes unnecessary harm. That settles it? Yeah, pretty much.
The paleo-libertarian stance on feminism. The basic idea of paleo-libertarianism is that certain aspects of society are better handled through being culturally frowned upon, but not actually illegal through any kind of state force, and that people should instead be held to financial and cultural responsibility for their poor choices. And how this relates to feminism is fairly straightforward. First, it would still technically be—
That sounds very freeing. It sounds very freeing, constantly having to make the right choices all the time so you don't suffer.
Basically allow women all the same legal freedoms that normal feminism allows them. However, it is also recognized—
He makes no sense. Andrew Tate is bad, but also women shouldn't have money, have equality. Yeah, he thinks that Andrew Tate is bad probably just because Andrew Tate wants to, like, nab his money. No, like, let's be real. He doesn't actually think Andrew Tate is bad because he's a fucking piece of shit.
That gender roles are actually good for the longer term, low time preference of society, that sexual dimorphism is a very real thing that we need to acknowledge, and that some level of patriarchy is therefore actually both good and natural and will happen, which means that yes, to some degree, Islam is unironically right about women. And it enforces—
What? Wait, he did not just say that, did he? Wait, I'm sorry, Islam? Islam is unironically right about women? Does he know? Does he know? Does he know what Islam says about women? What? This is like this is like accelerating my high like fivefold. This is insane. This is absurd.
This not through authoritarian measures, but instead by a rejection.
My libertarian sense is that women don't exist. They were invented by in the 1980s by the Reagan administration to distract me from socialism with big boobies. We don't talk enough about the looming threat in this world, which is big boobie. Okay, it's terrifying.
The egalitarian mindset and embracing personal financial responsibility. What's so sensible about the paleo mindset towards feminism is that it gets around one of the most common feminist talking points, that gender is a spectrum and that there will be exceptions to any pro-gender role ideology, that some men and women will thus be better off not following these rules. There will always be data points that go against the norm, as in the end people are individuals despite the overall averages. The off-trad point of view does not have a good answer to this talking point, while the paleo-libertarian answer is simply yes. If a woman can pass the same aptitude requirements as a man and can take responsibility for herself, then the freedom to do that still exists for her.
Well, that's not freedom though, right? Because if you have a society that's patriarchally driven, then obviously the path towards that is going to be it's going to be paved differently for women. And that's the issue. That's why this isn't fucking libertarianism at all. There's nothing libertarian about this, actually.
It could go on like this, but the best way to really show how this view of feminism fixes a lot of the problems of the mainstream narrative without causing unintended consequences.
Sex and spectrum and bimodal, gender is just made up. Yeah. I mean, to a degree. You know, I think it exists in a way, but not in like a way as close to our imagination of it. Hi Mia, nice to have you. Good evening, good afternoon for you. How you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Is for this video to be yet another installment of my Refuting BreadTubers series, this time looking at Sean, a prominent BreadTube left-leaning feminist. It's important I use Sean's arguments for this because Sean is one of those BreadTubers who is actually capable of occasionally being correct. I could easily prove my points by looking at one of the more many other feminists out there who are much less capable of articulating their arguments.
Konya mentioned Pog.
Sean is, but that would just make—
Good God, what is this? This is a nightmare, Mia. This is a nightmare, okay?
this just another of the thousands.
It's a video about how paleo-libertarianism, so libertarianism, but where you're like conservative and you shame other people for not being conservative, is apparently going to fix feminism. That's what this video is about, how paleo-libertarianism fixes feminism. So, you just noticed the ADHD clips? Oh yeah, have fun with that.
Of outrage porn videos along the lines of lol, look—
oh yeah, hit like folks, don't forget.
At this cringe feminist being dumb, LMAO. And that's not the goal here. What I will be basically demonstrating is that the problem with feminism is not that it empowers women and grants people freedom to choose their lot in life, but rather the issue is that feminism does not do these things. Instead, feminism simply gaslights women into believing that their own femininity is somehow a form of oppression, placing the women who fall for the scam into a permanent infantile state of victimhood, which basically just turns them into useful idiots for authoritarian leftist causes. Anyways, now I'll actually—
That's not true. and I understand where he's coming from, because there are people who'll do that. But there are people who do that in every group. There are especially people who like to do that in his group, which I assume is white men. Like talking about how they're the victims and how they therefore don't have to try and do anything. You hit dislike on the stream, Mia ban lurker right now. All right. I could put you in timeout, okay? Watch out. What is he saying? Yeah, remember this guy stuck in 2016? Oh yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Let's see.
Over a few of Sean's videos that—
everyone dislike. Oi, no, come on, don't be mean to me.
Touch on each of the 3 points, starting in reverse with the problems of egalitarianism.
I'll take away your stimuli. All right, don't you dare.
And victimhood. So one thing many have noticed is the tendency for feminists to use bad faith as a tactic to falsely accuse their critics of being misogynists. Anytime someone has criticism of feminism, that criticism is—
What the fuck is soggy knees?
Immediately conflated with harassment of the individual they are criticizing, or intentionally misinterpreted as misogyny.
Does anyone know what soggy knees is? Wait, did he talk about this?
Probably seen this act play out numerous times. Someone will point out various factual and statistical
soggy knees.
inaccuracies with some feminist theory, and rather than responding in good faith to it, a feminist will just immediately scream
what?
Soggy knees, preventing any real discussion.
What? Wait, what the fuck is he talking about?
from taking place. This is something I've called out before as
Props to him for not using the one singular feminist, or the two singular feminist images they have. What are soggy knees? Okay, I guess we're just gonna have to look it up. Soggy knees Urban Dictionary. You know that somebody's like, oh my god, there's only one result. There's only one result on this, and it's for Wiktionary. Oh, it's a distorted pronunciation of misogyny. Jesus Christ. Dude, I'm sorry, how much of a fucking weirdo do you have to be to include that in your video and like assume that like your like audience is gonna get it? Or what does that say about his audience? I want to know what the gender ratio is for this guy. Yeah, thank you, Jared Kelly. We got there eventually.
the criticism equals harassment grift, where a
Oh,
person,
hold on.
usually a woketoid, will say something wrong. People will then point out why what they said was wrong.
Bro is deep in misogynist lingo. Yeah, you can tell when like people are like they're getting like closer to be like to being harder to like get back from it, because they're like, they speak exclusively in that kind of way. Yeah, it's interesting because that's how like groups ferment themselves as well, right? Like they like by like establishing like a special like form, like means of communication and that kind of thing. It's interesting.
And the woketoid will then claim that these people are harassing them. The most obvious example from the feminism saga of the internet about 10 years ago was Anita Sarkeesian, who would say something nonsensical, such as defining any acceptable female character in video games in such a self-contradictory way so that it was impossible to actually make a character.
Hi, Niall. Hi. Are you gonna not be a cunt now?
That met her standards. Now, when people pointed out how obviously contradictory and stupid this was, she simply cried harassment and judged all of her critics based on the worst examples of trolls she could find. When people pointed out how dishonest that was, she simply doubled down on her grift, and that just kind of repeated until most of the internet forgot about her. Now,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about this lady. She seems annoying. I can't tell. You're always a cunt, that's your brand? Okay, well, we'll tone it down at least a little bit, because I am, you said something to me yesterday that pissed me off. I can't remember what it was, but, you know, go easy, and then I'll forgive you, and then you can piss me off again in, like, a couple days or something. But don't overdo it, because then I will get pissed off, and I'll ban you from chat. You know what it was? Okay, well, don't do it again then, please. If you want me to not, like, genuinely just, like, dislike you forever.
Sean, on the other hand, is not quite that dumb. So he does this a bit more indirectly by responding to Chris Ray Gun's video, where he says this little line.
Describe a scenario that I imagine we've all seen before. Two people are arguing about feminism online, both using the term feminist. However, one person is talking about women fighting for equality and equal rights. You know, from the suffragette movement for voting rights, all the way to the various issues of the modern day. And the other person is using feminists to mean modern women who are critics and anti-free speech and want to censor media that they don't like and force everyone to think like they do. And as a result, the two people talk past one another. You know, old feminists.
Well, yeah, we need to distinguish between, like, regular, actual, like, normal people feminists and then rad femmes. Like, that seems like a very vital thing. And I feel like if progressives make it clear enough to these types of people that they do fucking dislike rad femmes just as much as everybody else, then, like, yeah, then you'll be fine.
Activism good, new feminist ideology bad.
Now, the problem here is that those two versions of feminism that Sean gave are in fact the same thing. He is basically taking advantage of a
That's so stupid. That's so fucking stupid.
common error that people make, the idea that first wave feminism good, third wave feminism bad. By skimming over this, Sean has loosely implied that anyone who would dare question the first is of course obviously a bigot. This choice of egalitarianism or bigotry is a false dichotomy fallacy. For instance, recognizing that apples and oranges are different and do not have equal health benefits in all circumstances is generally an acceptable position to have. When you point this out, nobody says, oh my god, you must really hate apples. But when talking about groups of people for some
Feminism, famously about talking about how women are exactly the same from men, and there's no difference there.
reason, especially groups with many innate differences like men and women, people just kinda lose their minds and completely forget this. Recognizing differences between X and Y does not mean you hate X or Y. This is an absurd argument that should always be rejected.
Women are like apples. True. Trying to explain a fat woman to an American. Women are like burger.
On its face. Otherwise,
Imagine burger and then bacon burger. These are two different burgers.
It will just continue to be used as justification
Feminism wants to lie to you about the burgers.
by wokedoids to
The
continuously call
suffragettes seem kind of triggered. Yeah.
who disagrees with them a bigot. To further understand why this is wrong, you must first understand why the first wave good, third wave bad argument is always wrong. In the case
Thing is, this is all crazy because everything he's talking about with like feminists reacting badly is something that immediately follows him at the start saying that he thinks equality is a bad thing. Oh yeah, Mia, you'll have missed that. But at the very beginning of the video, he starts it out by saying that fucking libs will try and convince you that equality is actually good, and then when you ask them, they'll just ask them why that's true. They'll just scream at you. So this guy's a real treat.
of feminism, the truth is that it started out demanding equality and has always judged this equality by outcomes right from the start. This is the basic problem with egalitarianism. It has a very nasty little habit of interpreting any difference in outcome as the result of some form of discrimination that has to be ironed out. I've pointed this.
That's so not true, though. That's such a misreading. That's just incorrect.
Problem out.
Usually these differences in movements are about highlighting the positives of it, not like totally rejecting it.
Before in my video on the equity fallacy, which I kind of end up mentioning in every BreadTube episode I make because of how frequently these people commit this reasoning error, but in
the equity fallacy, the false belief that unequal outcomes between groups is solid evidence of systemic discrimination for the less fortunate group. What? And then he
regards to feminism, there is actually a very good book we can look at that puts all of it into great.
I don't know why he's showing us this here. But that seems incorrect. The equity fallacy, so that any result, where am I in his tier list? I'm wondering that. There's that one fucking tier list that somebody made, but it's someone that I like I made fun of for like asking Kyle Broflovsky for validation on their flag a couple days ago. So they didn't add me to the thing, unfortunately. I don't know, maybe they will. I haven't checked since they've been about on Twitter today, so I don't know. We'll see.
Detail and context. Feminism and Freedom by Michael Levin. In it, he explains how feminism builds its claims to equality on the house of cards, in that it starts from the assumption that innate differences have no impact.
I was gonna ask to be added, but I don't like the syndicate person. Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, I just like attention. I just want to see people have some sort of opinion on me. You refuse that tier list out of protest. I respect it, Mia. I respect it.
How society ended up structuring itself, and then works on that assumption to find reasons to claim any difference in statistical outcome must be the result of some kind of mysteriously unfair policy. The main takeaway is that the only real difference between the first, second, and third waves of feminism.
Wait, this is from Karl Max Bread to tier list when? Oh god. We could do that like maybe at the end of the stream though. The tier list is just a tanky plus a few leftists, yeah. Let's see what this quote is. I'm most anxious to enlist everyone who can speak or write to join in checking this mad, wicked folly of women's rights. Okay, so Queen Victoria was against it, so he's trying to take after her. Feminists ought to get a good whipping. Were women to unsex themselves by claiming equality with men, they would become the most hateful, heathen, and disgusting of beings, and would surely perish without male protection. This is a libertarian, by the way. Real libertarian moment right there.
Is that the latter is simply the former having been pushed to its logically absurd conclusion. When you accept the equity fallacy as.
And I'm not surprised Queen Victoria hated suffragettes. Imagine being like the only woman with like power and like its immense power, and then suddenly other women want some too. It's like, what the fuck? What are these bitches doing?
The justification for demanding equality that goes beyond just having.
Your opinions from Queen Victoria is certainly something, right? Isn't that insane? Jesus Christ.
The freedom to do as you wish beyond non-aggression, it opens up the floodgates where any manner of authoritarian action to enforce equality becomes justified. It's a great book, and I highly recommend it for anyone who wants to understand this particular argument against the blue pill mindset in full detail, because this topic is far more complex than I am presenting it, as I am forced to oversimplify a few things to prevent this thing from being.
These triggered feminists are using the equity fallacy by suggesting that women are not being allowed to vote as a result of discriminatory policy. Yeah, true. Yeah, they're just making shit up. How would you know that? How would you know that women are struggling as a consequence of that? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Insane. Queen Victoria was a deeply sad person for the last 40 years of her life after her husband, first cousin, died. Lovely.
An hour long. Just a few examples Levin went over. In the case of Berkman, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission ruled that a test was discriminatory if the passing rate for women is less than 80% of that rate for men, ignoring any possibility for inherent differences as an alternative explanation, despite
have you considered maybe women are just retarded? Maybe.
overwhelming empirical evidence to the contrary. Levin also calls out how social scientists often take an approach where the environmentalist is assumed to be correct until proven wrong, despite the fact that this violates the very idea that a hypothesis must be verified. This is a blatant shifting of the burden of proof. The only way to enforce this is...
Okay, I'm judging off this layout here. This looks like it might be from the 80s or 90s. Surely there's no reason why women could underperform on tests when they, face, heavy academic discrimination or anything like that. Surely that's not true. Surely, like they received like an equal education to what men got, and they were treated just as well, encouraged to learn just as much. And weren't just told that they would probably spend their lives just in the kitchen or doing washing up or cleaning clothes or whatever. Surely, right? Surely that's yeah, absolutely.
Of course,
maybe they're just stupid.
State intervention and the violation of freedoms.
I mean, the thing is, you have this very same issue with black people in America. When you look at the statistics for like IQ, if you go back, it used to be a lot lower in areas where people were, faced heavy educational discrimination and other discrimination for that matter, right? And so they performed worse. And it wasn't because they're actually more stupid, because when they did actually get the education, statistics show that they did get better and that, IQs went up. But it's a gradual thing. Look. I'm being non-racist today, okay? Give me a pass.
Such an unrealistic goal of outcomes can only be achieved by regulation of all aspects of our daily lives. This is why one of my favorite one-liner responses to feminism is, I agree with what feminism claims to be, but disagree with what feminism actually is.
Oh my god, holy shit. I'm gonna shoot myself. Can this motherfucker, can this like small-brained, angry little man think about like the possibility of more than just one very wrong version of something existing? Like, this is his argument with literally everything. His argument against fucking libertarian socialism is that there were some libertarian socialists who had silly ideas and they told him, and he was like, no. And now libertarian socialism is bad. Like, this is all this guy has. And he keeps on fucking doing it.
Feminism claims to create freedom, but because it relies on enforced equity to get anything done, it is actually an anti-freedom movement. And this is how...
But what if there's natural inequity? How is that freedom, you fucking bastard?
Sean gets you. Rather than relying on the usual bad faith of, you're a bigot for disagreeing with me that the lower IQ wokeoids will make, Sean, and really to an extent the entire feminist movement as a whole, just sort of implies it by their use of the equity fallacy. Are you starting to notice the problem here? You see, the tendency of feminists to simply scream soggy knees and rely on victimhood instead of logic.
Bro, shut the fuck up with the soggy knees thing. Nobody understands you. I mean, I swear to God, did anyone like talk about it in the comments? No, nobody mentioned it in the comments because it's just fucking weird. Stop.
Arguments is not just some weird
false equity retard. Yeah, I swear to God, ain't no one knows about soggy knees. Literally, like they don't even say when it came up. They don't even say when it came up. But I bet you it's not fucking like it's not recent. This guy's probably just a loser who's been on the internet for like his entire life and has picked up all the terrible like 4chan terminology.
Weird bug that came about from a mysterious mindset of entitlement that only struck
soggy knees out like the bird and the bees. Exactly, yes.
Feminists in the recent third wave. Rather, bad faith has been a feature of feminism from the very start. Paleo-libertarianism, however, fixes this problem by nipping it in the bud and denying the victimhood mentality outright. It gives both men and women the same property rights and freedom of choice, but makes
women having equality is a fallacy. I thought you were smart, Max. I wish I was, but this guy's making me realize I've got a lot to learn.
No unrealistic expectation of this resulting in equality. Thus, any instance of inequality used as evidence for victimhood is ignored until evidence of wrongdoing is actually presented. Now, next up is a deeper look at feminism and capitalism based on a response Sean made to Sargon, which lets us better understand how the differences between men and women naturally lead to gender roles when people are given free choice. So let's look at Sean's video titled Sargon of Akkad Can't Read, where Sean...
This is great. You're in a good position when you're defending known... What, isn't he a Nazi, Sargon of Akkad?
is arguing against Sargon's response to this article titled We Tested Bot.
Luke has been posting. Luke has been posting like crazy, and it's making feminists nervous. Yeah. They're all shaking right now. They're all reading the chat right now, and they're making their like fearful woman sounds and stuff.
It's like Siri and Alexa to see who would stand up to sexual harassment. The basic gist of it is that the author is accusing these chatbots of perpetuating harmful gender stereotypes based on how they respond to gendered language.
Real reason, go on. Let's go on. Drum roll. Siri.
That's interesting.
It's perpetuating harmful gender stereotypes based on how they respond to gendered language.
Not gonna lie. When I get an AI, this is also the first thing I say to it. I go, "You're a bitch. You're a slut. I want to have sex with you. You're sexy." This is exactly. They love that shit.
Harmful gender stereotypes based on how they respond.
Honestly, I've tuned out of the video. He isn't making any sense. Would we like to keep going? We can keep going. I mean, I feel like this is maybe this will lead somewhere. But let's see. We'll give it a few more minutes, and I can hold a vote.
The gendered language.
Real reason, go on. Let's go on. Drum roll. Siri, Alexander, Alexa, Cortana, and Google Home have women's voices because women's voices make more money because people prefer them.
Yes, Carl, because people prefer them. It even literally says that currently on the screen. This situation repeats itself later on.
Deborah Harrison, a writer for Cortana, said that at the 2016 Virtual Assistant Summit that a good chunk of the volume of early on inquiries went to Cortana's sex life. These are obvious jokes.
You see, this is the issue with the kind of sentence-by-sentence criticism of an article you tend to see on YouTube. You wind up making a bunch of assumptions at the end of one sentence that are contradicted by the next sentence.
Now, it's important to note that Sean is technically correct here. Reacting to a news article, whatever line
Technically.
my line may make for entertaining content, but it absolutely does not make for correct content. This is why I do not make these kinds of live video reactions myself.
People should fit any gender role they want, or no gender. I don't care. That's the real freedom belief. Literally, you shouldn't give a fuck.
The only way to really do it and make sure you aren't committing the embarrassing mistake of reacting to something that is later addressed and make sure you have all your facts and data lined up just right is to first pre-read the entire article before the live stream and then react to it while knowing beforehand what it's about. But of course, the type of people who like to watch live reaction content have dubbed doing this as cheating for some reason, so whatever you can.
No, dog. If you're reacting to something like a study or whatever, it's like on a live stream. It's your responsibility to either be like careful and to like look through it well enough to make sure that you have everything, or you like look through it in a way and that you like disclaim to people that it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily know everything, and you make that clear to them. But you don't just read through it and just say things that are like clearly fucking stupid and disproven by the same page that you're like on right now. Like, come on, dude.
Have nice things. Now, here's the million-dollar question, though. If Sargon is committing random errors due to how he is reacting to this, does this mean that Sean is right? Well, I decided to give it a read myself, and no.
Isn't Carl's videos pre-recorded so you could check? I'm assuming it wasn't, if he's saying that.
It is not a good article. It is, in fact, a very, very bad article. If you know how AI works, you know that these bots do not actually understand what is being shouted at them. As someone who actually knows some programming and strongly suspects the person who wrote this does not, allow me to explain this in as simple terms as I can. All these chatbots are doing is fetching user input and then weighing that input against a categorized database to piece together a canned response from multiple categories in such a way to make it seem like the bot is creating some meaningful interaction. And just about every chatbot also has a sort of null response. If you give it input and it doesn't find a good match, it pulls output from categories designed to basically blow you off. Change the subject, ask a question. The bot will then formulate some kind of linguistic gymnastic to hide the fact that it can't compute the sensible response. So when you insult a bot and the bot says, "Thanks for the feedback," that doesn't mean the bot is thanking you for insulting it, or does it even understand that you've insulted it. Rather, more likely the bot fetches input as "you are an X," and the bot doesn't know what X is or have a match for X, and so it instead gives a generic canned reply from its, I guess you could say, customer service category in hopes the user won't notice that the bot isn't actually really providing a genuine conversation. This is
Wait, so what's his point? All he said was that it's saying that it doesn't understand something is stupid, and then he explains that it just doesn't understand something sometimes. What the fuck is he talking about?
Cause. And Sean does not do a good job at all in his response to Sargon defending it. Instead, his response relies almost entirely on dumpstering on Sargon and pointing out little errors that he made. This is something known as a fallacy. Just because an argument...
Does he think that Sean is claiming that Alexa's sentient? He thinks the article is, clearly. Fucking... I don't even know anymore, man. This guy's such a fucking idiot. What do robots have to do with feminism? I mean, to be fair, that was specifically talking about robots having female voices and therefore being sexually harassed more. And that's okay. That is like an interesting feminist talking point. That women are like preferred to be in like a role of complacency. and like to be submissive and that kind of thing.
For X being true has been made poorly does not mean that X is false. So what's the main problem with this article then? Well, I'll let Sean lead on that.
Many argue capitalism is inherently sexist, but capitalism, like any market system, is only sexist because men have oppressed women for centuries. Many people think this, but the truth is this. It's a pretty simple rhetorical construction there, quite easy to follow, you might imagine.
I think it's about female voices generally being seen as nicer sounding now. It depends, but the large general reason they do that though is because people like to have female servitude, like genuinely, like we can go into that, but that is for like a lot of people why they like it.
There we go. Of course, that's what this is all about. Capitalism is perpetual.
Fallacy is the ultimate fallacy. Yeah, this guy's just like literally just bringing up a thing of like, what if you were wrong? And that's his like whole argument. It's like, that's all it is. And now he's calling it a fallacy. Like, bro, come on.
Creating these unfair, sexist, bigoted, whatever outcomes and stereotypes that must be addressed because we have decided that we don't like them. And the burden of proof is on you to prove otherwise, argument number 10,000,000,001. Now, I'm going to take an indirect approach that has less to do with this article specifically. Let's actually talk about these gendered outcomes from an economic perspective and address this whole hundreds of years of oppression and sexism.
Not the fallacy.
Start with the pay gap. The left-wing argument is that women make something less sense for every dollar men earns. The right-wing argument is that controlling for certain variables shows this is actually the result of free choice. The left-wing response is that those variables don't matter because reasons, and the
even if you control for free choice, there is still a pay gap. The pay gap is massively less than the typical one it's made out to be. Like 70 cents on the dollar is far from the actual truth if you are controlling for a lot of these factors. But then again, society is also the thing that's causing these factors to be different, and is causing then the pay inequality, right? Like you can't say that women aren't actually being paid less than men because they're not in the chief doctor positions and they just don't get paid that much. There's like a reason why they're not in the chief doctor positions, and often that's possible because they're women, and you know, some fields are like male dominated or whatever the fuck, and you know, that is a result of gendered issues.
Response is that they do matter because reasons. There's actually an easier way that most people totally miss. Let's instead examine it from the perspective of incentives. And let's start this out by being super charitable to the environmentalist position. Let's assume that there are zero neurological or other major physical differences between men and women besides the simple fact that women have eggs and get pregnant and men have sperm. And let's assume that we want the same thing. Say both these people want a family. Well, the male knows that if he finds a wife and who wants to raise a family, there will likely come a time where she is out of commission for about a year and he will effectively have to economically provide for two people. This incentivizes the male to find work that pays well, even if that work isn't very flexible or psychologically fulfilling to him, because he knows he will most likely have additional financial responsibility in this future relationship.
Awesome. He's gonna torture himself with labor.
And the female knows the opposite. If she wants to start a family, there will likely come a time where she will have to take a paternity leave from work. And so her incentive is to find a career with some flexibility to it, even if it doesn't pay as well. And she also has an additional incentive to find a good man who is financially secure, which then just further incentivizes the male to achieve financial security if he wants to find a good woman who will make a good mother. The result of this is that there will, on average, just from the incentives, be some form of a wage gap. This also exposes a huge flaw with the leftist.
This is far from the only like factor though that influences that. What if the male can't find work though? What's this crack pipe dream utopia? Literally, dog. I am baffled by this. Also just the idea that it's like somehow better that the guy is gonna like torture himself.
Tendency to push victimhood narratives about these alleged unfair outcomes. Sure, the woman in this scenario is indeed earning less, but this doesn't mean that she has less.
Some women don't get to get pregnant. This guy's a conservative. He doesn't know that. He probably thinks he knows better than the women who think that.
And guess what?
What if gay? Do we both work as much as your average Victorian child? Yes.
But that's exactly what the data shows.
Source? I made it the fuck up. Yeah,
women control 51% of personal...
Wait, maybe this guy has sources. Whoa! He has sources! Wow! Okay, that's actually impressive. Wow! I could debate this guy because I have his sources. I'm really shocked at this. I'm baffled. But that's interesting. Okay. Wait. Slavery was overall bad for the economy. Wait, did I miss that? Wait, where did he talk about slavery? Okay, wait, let's just keep going. Maybe I'm jumping ahead here.
So this leads a basic logic question. If a person A and person B live together, and person A earns 77% of what person B earns, but then person B gives an equivalent portion of their earnings to person A, well, who's really being shafted there? Oftentimes when you look at these alleged outcomes from a different angle, they aren't actually bad outcomes at all. People are just trading an outcome in one area of their life for another outcome in a different area. Men and women are just making logical decisions to reach a desired goal. The differences in the statistics along the way are simply due to the differences in how the incentives operate. And you can further prove this is the case by subtracting the family element from these incentives entirely. Guess what? When you do that, the wage gap completely vanishes. Single women who don't want a family, don't have children, and just focus on their career, when you look at young people who fit this and are just focusing on themselves, the wage gap reverses and women earn 8% more. And the feminists following the victimhood narrative are completely baffled by this and rush to find ridiculous explanations. Maybe the patriarchy is punishing women for having children. Maybe men oppress women in their relationship and force their wife to earn less through the perpetuation of these unfair gender stereotypes after they get married. Or maybe the economy specifically only discriminates against older women. No.
Yeah, I love forcing my wife to earn less. True.
People are just following their incentives based on innate differences. It's so painfully obvious when you apply incentives intent and how they relate to human action. It's amazing how many people don't get this.
He keeps showing soy jacks. I hate it. Yeah, I hate how fucking clearly like internet brain poisoned this guy is. Like, I know like I'm internet brain poisoned, right? But at least I'm not like this, you know?
And remember, this was all from, again, the extremely charitable position of assuming that the only innate difference is who births the child. Let's crash back down to reality land where these innate differences are acknowledged. Men and women do not have the same psychology. We have very different IQ distributions, which lead to a greater number of both male idiots and male geniuses, which just this fact alone, by the way, offers an alternative explanation for most of feminist grievances, especially patriarchy. Men and women have hundreds of different physical differences that are a lot more than just eggs and sperm. Men and women's hormonal differences have a significant effect on brain chemistry. Women have greater language processing.
Yeah, I mean, both of those things have like, they're like pros and cons to them, right? I mean, talk about women's like hormonal differences, or we're talking about cis women, mind you, or AFAB people's hormonal differences, or people on estrogen. How about that? But you know, everyone has fucking hormonal issues influencing them somehow, right? Regardless of if it's estrogen or testosterone or some mystery third thing I don't know about. Everybody is going to be influenced by that. So it's not really an argument to say that this is like making people either inherently better or worse. We're all internet brain poisoned, but at least none of us would use Wojaks in a video essay. Yeah. Look, maybe I'd use one. Okay, maybe I'd use one. Okay.
While men have better spatial processing, and of course men and women.
IQ is a terrible way to find a legitimate measure of intelligence. Yeah, that too.
Are attracted to different things in a partner, even when you factor in LGBT into the equation. And none of these things have ever been adequately explained by the environmentalists. This is where the nugget of truth can be found in the manosphere. A lot of how our society functions and how our hierarchies form in regard to sex and gender are simply the result of these differences, not as some mysterious force of oppression. They also tend to look at it from the perspective of game and attraction. For instance, what if women are just naturally attracted to men who show qualities of competency and leadership? Well then, this just adds another incentive for men to aim for those roles, which just adds another layer of differences in outcome to exist by purely natural causes. If you apply all these facts to other areas of feminist theory by using the same rational flow of following incentives to their conclusions like I just did for the wage gap, we increasingly find this hundreds of years of oppression theory to be nothing more than dogma. Two groups with thousands of innate differences will not have the same incentives, will not have the same desires, and will thus
Oh my god. He's ignoring every single facet of oppression, every single one that women went through. He's just acknowledging the fucking difference that women want to be fucking married to a strong guy and know that they're going to be pregnant and therefore get work that pays less. What the fuck? This guy is literally brain dead. Wait, women only like had the ability to open a credit card since like 50-ish years ago, right? Like it's so insanely absurd to act like there's like the inequality is just a natural one. Can we have this on 2x speed? Let's go, sure.
Does not have the same outcomes. This is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that one is inferior to the other. This is just the result of people with differences making free choices based on those differences. Speaking of those free choices, people report greater psychological health when following traditional gender roles. People in countries with higher economic equality that leftists often want actually experience a greater desire for gender roles and aim for them, not less.
Well, I mean, yeah, people like fitting into a thing, right? So therefore they enjoy conforming to their gender roles, which is, you know, which is fine. But the thing is, the interesting thing is really with this guy is that if you had like actual fucking libertarian socialism, for example, these sorts of couples, these sorts of like things could exist way more, because then you wouldn't have to worry about some guy having to go and work for like 50 hours a week to make enough money to feed wife and baby because they're not getting any fucking welfare because this guy's an idiot with idiot policies.
And there's also solid evidence that proves that having this difference ingrained in culture and practice is greater for the long-term survival, low-time preference of society, which means that since people get both an economic and psychological benefit from these roles, then people have an incentive to adopt those roles. All of this further throws a big wrench in the centuries of oppression narrative.
I'm gonna speed it up as much as possible. Okay, fuck. We can't speed it up that much because then we won't know what's going on. But would you like to hold a vote? Would you like to just vote on it? On if we keep on watching? Just because we can, yeah? You think 2x is good? Okay, look, I'll just do a little vote, a little yes/no vote. Yes if you want to keep on watching, no if you want to switch to something else. Just let me know. Remember, yes if you want to keep on watching, no if you want to switch. No. Okay, wow. Okay, we've got 6 votes in. If there's any more, feel free to throw in your hat. Throw your hat into the ring. Okay. We'll leave it at that. Okay. 83% says no. So therefore, we are going to watch something else. You voted yes. I'm sorry, Mia. To be fair, you joined a little later, so you're slightly less brain rotted. As a result. Wes has fallen. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Okay. So therefore, we're gonna be switching over to a PragerU video. Okay, we got some PragerU videos lined up, and all of these seem pretty interesting. But I'm gonna give you the options for each and every one of them. Is your kid getting enough? The second title is called "Is Your Kid Getting Enough Vitamin N?" I can't type it out in full, but there you are. Okay, and then this one, the last one is called "The Government Isn't Supposed to Fix Your Life." Okay, now vote. Okay, tell me what you want. What do you want to see? We'll watch it. Okay, so just let me know. Pick something. Whatever you want. We can go for it. Go on. Okay. It's getting close. We've got 5 votes. Yeah? Okay. Alright. I think that's enough. Alright, hold on. Calm down. Okay. Then let's end the poll. We got 6 votes in. Very big election over here. And what was voted for? I'm trying to wait for it to show up. I forgot. Oh no. Wait, does someone remember? Which one was it? Was it "The Government Isn't Supposed to Fix Your Life"? I feel like it might have been that. I'm not sure. Wait, who remembers? Ah, there we are. Here we are. Okay, "The Government Isn't Supposed to Fix Your Life." Okay, let's go for it. Same vibes as our previous fella, by the looks of it.
Well, I'm not here to.
Oh God, that's a voice. All right, that's a shit. Okay. All right. Let's. There you are. There's your stimuli. Okay. Wait. I'll pop this in the top here. Make it a little cleaner at least. Pop it between those two. Perfect. Beautiful. All right. Let's see. Let's see what PragerU has to tell us. Add more stimuli. You folks want more stimuli? We can look. Oh God, that's never not gonna be fucking funny to me. Okay, I'll make it a little smaller so it's kind of you can kind of tell what's going on. Okay. All right. Let's fucking go. Wait. No more? Yeah. Okay. All right. Wait, okay, look, we'll wait, we'll let these videos play out a bit, okay? We'll leave it as is right now, and if we decide we want more later on, we can have some more, but maybe this video will be entertaining anyway, okay? So let's see where it goes.
Tell you who to vote for, but
Wow, that's a crazy voice. Wait, is this full speed? This is full speed.
well, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, but I am here to tell you who not to vote for. Don't vote for anyone who says, "I'll fight for you." Because that
True. Just don't trust anyone. Don't trust anyone, okay? Look, I know populism can be a little bit cringeworthy sometimes, but saying every populist is bad is kind of insane.
Person is full of crap and has no intention of not only fighting for you, he doesn't know who you are. He or she's just moving on to the next town where they can point at the next sap and say, I'll fight for you. So
This is just them wanting to give you trust issues for literally everybody. I would be really surprised if PragerU never said that they'll fight for people. I would be really, really surprised. And what's interesting is this video is 7 years old. So they probably slipped up on that by now. I might have to have a look into that later, because if so, it would be kind of a banger post if I can show the video of them saying that's not gonna happen, or they're saying that it's bad and then showing them do that. Wow, politicians don't know everybody. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Trump famously never said he would fight for it. No,
tired of these politicians and their town hall meetings when somebody stands up and says, I'm pregnant with quadruplets. Been put on academic probation at the junior college, and my milkman hates my guts. What are you gonna do for me? And my answer is nothing, but here's the good news.
What the hell? Wait, what? These are so fucking funny, man. I love the pacing of these. They're like, it's so good. I don't know how conservatism got to this point where they are literally just like self-satire. That has to be on the soundboard. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll keep this in mind. I'll keep this in mind. I'll return to this one.
We live in the United States. You can do something for you. Feel free to get a job and fight to keep it.
We live in the United States. Go fuck yourself. Struggle.
Let me give you a really good example of people doing too much for others and us coming apart at the seams as a society. You guys remember when you were kids and you'd fake an illness and you'd stay home from school and you'd sit there on your sofa and you'd watch daytime TV. Hey, I'm Wally Thorpe, School of Trucking.
What the fuck is this? Why do they have a Wally Thorpe trucking bit in the middle of this? You have to put Dennis Prager saying, I want mommy on the soundboard. Yeah, I should do that. I think I could probably find that sound clip as well pretty easily.
You can get to trucking too. Be a long haul trucker. Get your license. Hit the open road. Make a good living. Learn typewriter repair.
Wally, you're messing with my emotions, Wally. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me here.
Learn toaster repair. Remember all of those commercials? Every single.
What the fuck kind of? Is this a thing? To Americans, you have somebody who comes on TV and goes, "You should come here and learn trucking, or learn toaster repair, or typewriter repair."
Learn toaster.
Why is that the only thing they could think of? Is that like the 3 jobs: trucking, typewriter, and toaster repair?
Remember all of those commercials? Every single commercial.
I want mommy, I want milk, I want to be held. Yeah.
Geared to somebody.
Grew up thorping on their Wally. Mia. Stop.
Who was out of work, but who wanted to work. Why? Well, it's Tuesday. It's noon. Who's going to be home watching this TV show?
Me.
People who are out of work. What do people?
I'm not out of work. I just have jobs that I can do in the afternoons.
Who are out of work want to do? They want to get to work. Thus, they learn to drive an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, this is what every single person I know who's unemployed, they want to, they have learned already to drive an 18-wheeler as a consequence. I'm not even reading that one out loud, okay? I'm afraid I'm gonna get banned. Don't say you're typing with your tongue, Mia. No, stop it, Mia. There we are. Okay, she's dealt with.
Now, look at every commercial that's on during daytime TV. Wrongfully let go by an employer, slip and fall in a supermarket, you can sue.
Wait, these are two different categories of ads that probably both existed for the same length of time. I don't think people just started making these big fucking God, what do you call these? You know, when these just big cases where they try and get like a bunch of people in on them. Like, that's not a new thing. That's been going on for quite a while, has it not?
Hi, I'm attorney Lance Bassman, and I'll fight for you.
Oh my God, this is like a Better Call Saul bit.
See? The same people that say they're going to fight for you are the same people trying to get you free.
This is Mia's mum. I just found her and shot her dead at her desk. Let's go! Let's go! Thank you, Mia's mum. Oopsie daisy. Oopsie daisy.
Crap when you won't get off your ever-enlarging butt.
Whoa! Average American.
That's now melding and becoming one
Holy
with your
shit.
sofa.
I don't know why this made me think of
Enlarging
Peter Griffin.
butt.
Why did this make me think of Peter Griffin?
That's now melding and becoming one with your sofa.
I'm listening to the stream and fighting Margaret that fell in the background and you're modding so hard. Yeah, I wish you the best of luck. That seems terrible. No, I didn't kill her. She was dead when I found her. Oh, okay. The funeral's tomorrow. Okay. All right, I wish you luck. I would ask for an invitation, but I don't want to see her again.
Sofa. Fixing your screwed up life is not the government.
Get fat, turn into a chair. This is the future liberals
By
want.
the way, when does the government do a good job at fixing anything? I mean, I live in Los Angeles.
Pretty often. Most of the time, the government, generally not that bad a lot of the time. Like, I know it can be terrible, right? I know it can be terrible and fucked up, but usually it's not that the government is all terrible, it's that they're terrible in specific bits to specific people. They have the capacity to be great. They just need to be forced into it. You know, democratically encouraged. But like, come on. New mod when? I mean, if you want to be, you can be a mod. I don't really care.
We pay the most in taxes and we get the least in education. I want the government to do stuff that I can't do.
He's American, so he's right. The government is terrible. It so also happens to be his party's fault. Within limits. Even the American government has done good in like trying to fix some of their things and you know, improve it. Let's not pretend that they're like totally incapable of it. Like you have some very progressive states with actually like really, you know, good policy. Like it's not unachievable.
Stop a war, end a plague, that kind of stuff. Stuff involved.
Wait. What did he just say? Sorry, what did he just say?
When does the government do a good job at fixing anything?
Okay.
I mean, I
Also,
live in
hi,
Los
CJ.
Angeles. We pay the most in taxes and we get the least in education. I want the government.
Is that true? Is that true? How does LA rank in terms of states ranked by education? Let's have a look. What? Wait, did that just say? Okay. Oh, I think it just said Florida? No way. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on just a moment there. But what did Karl mark? Your mum. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. What? Based on what? Oh, it's higher education. Okay. All right. Wait. Okay. And let's see. Where is shit? Maybe California is actually eating shit in terms of this. Here we are. 20 in education, 38th in pre-K-12, and 3rd in higher education. 38th is pretty poor though. Yeah. Huh. I wonder why that is shitty. I wonder what the reason for that is. I'm not sure though.
Do stuff that I can't do. Stop a war.
When did this video come out? I thought he was. I wonder what he thought about COVID restrictions. Yeah, me too, right?
End a plague.
Also, that's so fucking funny. Being like, I hate the government. When are they gonna fight like Godzilla or something important. When are they gonna kill a new Hitler? All right, when are they gonna do this? Like, why do you have these super specific things you want? Are there not like real problems, like outside of stopping war? I mean, yeah, stop wars, but that's not. Didn't really look like. Is this stopping war? Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe that is them stopping a war, but yeah, I don't know.
That kind of stuff. Stuff involving me, stuff involving my family, stuff involving my community. I can handle that.
Maybe I'll only have to work 50 hours a week now that Mia is dead. Base.
Also,
W for Mia's
don't vote for
mom.
the politician who says, I know it's not a level playing field. I'm going to level it for you. That's impossible. It is mathematically impossible to have a level playing field. What are we going to do about fat people being discriminated against?
Well, that's why we have to have like welfare systems and that kind of thing.
Some people are born with one limb shorter than the other.
No, dude, they did not just add the little squeaky sound with the fucking amputee. No.
Being discriminated against. Some people are born with one limb shorter than the other.
He just admitted meritocracy is a lie. Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah, just eat shit, I guess. If you're suffering, eat shit.
Other people are born with a Brillo head. There's nothing we can do about it.
What is a Brillo head? Can anyone in chat enlighten me on what a Brillo head is? Oh my god, the amount of bullshit I've had to look up today. Brillo head. A Brillo head is a person who has ugly, curly hair. Oftentimes a person of mixed ethnic descent. A halfie that will have that white complexion but black hair. Okay. Interesting. Is this okay? I wonder I wonder what that's coming from. Interesting. You can repair normal toasters with one hand and really tiny toasters with the other. Base. That's what you gotta be. Yeah, you gotta take advantage of your situation.
The government.
The mod pop-up alt-tabbed me out of Elden Ring. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Good luck. Sorry. Welcome, Barnacle Boy. Thank you for the sub.
Job is to clear the playing field, not level the playing field. Since it's impossible for them to level the playing field, just clear it of all the landmines and all the barbed wire and let us get to work. And don't worry.
What's he
This
cooking?
is a great country. The harder you work, the more you score.
What? Wait a minute. Didn't this guy just say? Didn't CJ just smartly point out that this guy just totally fucked his point? What the fuck are you talking about? What? What's the difference between a clear playing field and a level playing field? I don't know, because apparently there's fucking barbed wire on it, which feels like much more of a fucking obstacle than a hill, I guess, which is what an unlevel playing field would be.
And eventually your team goes to the Super Bowl. So let's review. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'll tell you who not to vote for. Don't vote for the guy who says he's going to get rid of all your problems.
Vote for the guy, like this guy, who says he's not going to do anything and you can just suffer until you die.
Take care of you and tuck your kids in at night. You see, humans need challenges to overcome, just like a muscle needs resistance to grow. In a zero-gravity environment, an astronaut's muscles atrophy because there is no resistance. The government giving
you need to
you a
suffer.
bunch of handouts and living your life for you is basically the equivalent of doing push-ups in outer space. Look, Ma, I can clap 5 times, just like Rocky in between sets. Big
Can Rocky clap 5 times? That's pretty awesome. Vote for the guy who has the balls to tell you that he wants to make all your problems worse. Yeah, I kind of respect it, honestly. If you're going to be like that outright, like, yeah, I fucking hate poor people. You can suffer. Go, yeah, suffer. Cry, suck my dick. Just suffer. It's great. This guy really said Don't listen to people who say they'll help you and then said clear the field and we'll help our own community. So he's just saying that he's going to help the community. Yeah, this guy's like literally just an anarchist, I guess. That's what we know now.
Government is like the void of space. It's massive, constantly expanding, and if we immerse ourselves in it, we'll simply wither away. I'm Adam Carolla for Prager University.
Wow, that was fucking awful. What a terrible video. Einstein? Yeah, I think this guy is Einstein. I think Einstein might not have died in World War II, and this is actually him. Okay, I believe so. Under my administration, every third child will be born with tiny arm. Yes, finally, that's what we need. That's what we need. No, Einstein was a simulator. Oh, I see. You're poor, you should suffer. Karl Marx is done for you. It's fine. Okay, let's go for another vote, folks. We got the other choice. We have the choice between how to get kids to listen. Einstein's political views took a downturn. Yeah, not good. Or is your child getting enough vitamin N? Okay, and that's what you can vote between. So feel free, go on, hit me. Tell me what you're interested in. Yabba dabba do. Look at this. We got waiting music even. How cool is that? We're like a real professional stream. All right. Okay, we got 4 votes in. Does anybody else? Go on. Throw in your suggestion. Are you a bad person for wanting to know what the N stands for? I mean, look, I can't lie. That was also my first thought. I was like, what are you feeding your kids? You know? Okay, we got 5 votes in. I'll settle it at that. That's okay. Okay. So how to get your kids to listen won with 60% of the votes, just barely. But I promise these videos will probably be equally entertaining. So do not worry about it, and let's hop on into it. Let's figure out how to get kids to listen. Me being somebody who's worked a lot with kids and spent a lot of time learning about how to deal with kids. I'm hoping I can learn some more here. You know, maybe I'll learn some new strategies, some methods, some new philosophy, and we'll see where it goes. You know. Oh, there we are.
When was the last time you heard a child referred to as obedient?
Ooh, that's creepy. That's just creepy, right?
It's probably been a while. That's too bad because
this guy's a pedophile. I mean, look, okay, wait, that was just I didn't mean to say that. That just fell out of my mouth because I saw this guy. He is a fucking, yeah, in Minecraft. What the fuck? What are we up to? I got back from walking to the store in blazing Virginia heat, and when I handed the cashier a coupon, I almost said, "Can I use this condom on accident?" That's massive W. Good job. We are looking at PragerU, how to get kids to listen. Learning.
Best research tells us that obedient children are happy children.
Oh, no, I think the best research actually tells you that happy children are obedient children. That's actually the way the chicken and egg goes here, right? Because if children are happy, if they feel respected, if they feel listened to, they're much more likely to listen to what you want to do, right? And they're much more likely to trust you and then comply when you tell them to do something. This is my strategy when I work with kids. I make an effort, or not even when I just work with kids, because I also work with disabled adults and stuff. My strategy is that I treat everyone like somebody who's just on my level, right? And I treat them like a human, and I respect them, and then they listen to me, right? Because they understand that I will listen to them as well, because it's a back and forth, which is why this kind of shit, like what this fucker is trying to push, is absolute bullshit. Because it's enforcing a hierarchy, which is gonna make the kid not fucking like want to listen to you. It's gonna make the kid like fucking despise their position that they're in. It's really, it really annoys me. Children are more likely to cooperate with you. Yeah, exactly. Ah, God, gonna raise my kids like this so they all get trauma. Yeah, cool. Yeah, make them cool, make them interesting, give them trauma.
And from my experience as a family psychologist,
oh no! Oh my God! How many kids do you think were abused at this guy's hand? How many? Because those sorts of fields, things like family psychology, you have like two separate groups of people who go into there. You have the people who are abused, they were abused as kids, and now they want to prevent other kids from getting abused, or they were abused as kids and they justified it in their brain, and now they want to justify that abuse on others. Look at his reviews, that's a fantastic idea. Let's see. Let me see if I can find anything. John Rosemond, psychologist. Apparently he's a columnist now. Reviews. I wonder if this guy even exists. I'm not seeing any I'm not seeing anything from an actual practice. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that he's not actually a practicing family psychologist, and that he's actually just somebody who writes about psychology and probably has like some sort of qualification in it.
parents of obedient children are happy parents. Since all parents want their children to be happy, the question becomes, how does one get a child to obey? Is there some trick to it? Well, there certainly are a lot of parents who think so.
People lie on wholesome PragerU video. Yeah, I'm shocked. The PragerU lies? What?
Oh, they believe that proper discipline is a matter of using the right methods, techniques, and strategies, what I call consequence delivery systems. Parents have been using these behavior modification-based methods since they became popular in the 1960s.
Oh, that's how you know something's good. It became popular in the 1960s? Oh, that's a functioning method right there. That's some trustworthy science, obviously. Yeah, you should listen to this. Oh, yeah, of course. The billionaire-funded propaganda is propaganda? No! I'm not coming back from this. It's crazy.
To no avail. Would anyone argue that today's kids are more obedient than kids were several generations ago? I don't think so.
They're abused less, and they have more freedom. Yeah, because laissez-faire parenting. Laissez-faire in parenting refers to a type of parenting where you're more hands off and you give your child space to kind of fuck up and do what they want to do more. That's become more popular because that just wasn't like known to be a thing before, because everyone was like abused by like the silent generation, and then the boomers abused their kids, and now we're moving away from that kind of like cycle of violence and upset.
So the reason these methods and techniques don't
behavior modification based consequence delivery system is a Tony Soprano level euphemism. Yeah, he would like kill someone and then say he was just tending to it. Where is Teddy? I don't know. Teddy said he's out somewhere. He's chilling. Don't worry. If he wants me, he'll let us know. He's a big loud meower. We'll know. We'll know.
Is that proper discipline is not a matter of proper methods. It's a matter of a proper attitude on the part of the parent. Let me illustrate the point. Let's say that for a week, I observed the classroom of a grade school teacher who has the reputation of being the best disciplinarian in her district. She consistently has fewer behavior problems than any of her colleagues. What is she doing? She's making her expectations perfectly.
He looks so creepy, right? Dude, they all look creepy. This looks like a nightmare. This has to be a nightmare of some kind. Like, this is awful. I wonder if she also has more issues. Yeah, but all the kids hate her. Yeah, that's usually how it is, right? Like, the teachers that create the least behavioral issues are the ones who, like, are insane and horrible to fucking be around, because if you do anything wrong, they'll, like, snap immediately and, like, give you way, like, disproportionate consequences. Yeah.
Which means, first, she communicates in simple declarative sentences. She doesn't use 50 words when she could use 10. The more words you use to communicate your expectations, the less confident you sound.
Oh my god. Okay, kind of. I mean, there's a truth to the fact that if you're telling a kid to do something, and you clearly don't really believe it's something they should be doing, or like clearly don't really care about it that much, then they're gonna be less interested in doing it, right? Uh-oh. But using less words all the time as a strategy is fucking horrible. Like, especially if you're working or talking to anybody who's like not they're like neurodivergent or whatever. With like autistic people, you want to provide as many words as possible, so like the task is very clear and laid out, right? But if you do it like this guy, then you're just gonna be fucked. How many terabytes do we think you got? I don't know. Probably like all of them. Every single terabyte, every single terabyte available of some awful shit, he's probably got. All right, I believe it. I'd absolutely believe it. All right, skadoosh.
Second, she prefaces her instructions to her students with
behavior modification based consequences delivery system, stuffing dead child into mascot suit. Base?
Authoritative phrases like, I want you to.
NAF style parenting.
It's time for you to. She says, it's time for you to take out your math books and turn to page 25, as opposed to, let's take out our math books and turn to page 25, okay? Third, this...
Depends on who you are. Depends on who you are. I mean, with some I mean, it depends on the classroom as well. I think if you do have a classroom of particularly like shitty kids who don't want to like listen to you, telling them statements like we're getting out our books now or whatever, and being more assertive can be helpful and it can be necessary. But if you establish a more you know, kind emotional connection to the kids, you're gonna have much better results generally than if you're like if you're like that all the time. Volkswagen cap, didn't know I was a big corporate job. Oh wait, this is a Volkswagen cap, isn't it? I forgot. I just got it. I shoplifted this once because it cost like 30 euros. I shoplifted it in Minecraft. No, like I was in a shop and I saw the price and I was like, this is stupid. And so I nabbed it.
Teacher does not explain the motives behind her.
Did I actually? Yeah, I used to a lot. Then I got caught. Don't shoplift.
Instructions to her students.
In Minecraft.
Why? Because she knows that explanations invite arguments. Whenever parents tell me they're dealing with an argumentative child, I know that these well-intentioned people are explaining themselves. They tell their child why they want him to pick up his toys, for example, and he argues, because you can always pick apart an explanation.
That's fine. Sometimes kids will argue, and sometimes they'll also be right, you know? Like, a big pillar of parenting, like, from guys like this, is never admit you're wrong, you know? Never show any weakness, never show any humanity, you know? Make it clear that you and your kid are on, like, different levels of being, right? That's fucking stupid.
If you don't explain yourself when you give an instruction to a child, then the child, being a child, is almost surely going to ask for one. He's going to
Oh my god, McBidens, you fucker. I can't believe you stole a fruit shoot.
Ask why or why not? At which point, get ready for a big surprise. Your answer should be, because I said so. These very useful 4 words, and no.
Look, most of the time, no. I mean, most of the time, that's like a very shitty answer. If you can't provide an actually like, good like reason for your kid to do something, just, I mean, maybe there's like a good reason for that, and maybe you just shouldn't tell them to. I mean, I don't know. But sometimes you do have to just employ a good old, because I told you so. Go and do that now. Don't be a brat. Because sometimes kids are just like that, and then you do have to kind of assert yourself, because they're pushing it, right? They want to, like, some kids will try and figure out where the line is. So you got to establish it. Like, when you can tell they're doing that, it's good to establish it and then like make it clear that they can't push any further, or else they'll like have to deal with a consequence of some kind. But mainly I think the critical thing is giving them space to fuck up, but also warning them that there will be consequences if they choose so, but not having those consequences be like insane and disproportionate.
No, they will not cause psychological damage to your kids. Quite the contrary.
I feel you,
A
McBidens.
simple but powerful affirmation of the legitimacy of your authority. Say it calmly. Don't scream it. Nothing good is ever accomplished by a person who screams.
That's actually a reasonable thing to say. Nice.
Last but certainly not least, when giving instructions to a child, do not, let me repeat, do not bend down to the child's level. Getting a child to do what he or she is told is a matter of looking and acting and talking like you have complete confidence in your authority. Bending down to a child's level does not look authoritative.
This is some loser shit, dude. How are you such a bad parent that you can't even like fucking like help like make your child do something without like having like full authoritarianism over them? Like, come on. I hate how they keep saying he or she. They're going out their way to not be inclusive. Yeah, it's really stupid. Explain to kids why you want them to do something will also make them more emotionally intelligent and better communicating. Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, everyone I know who's had, like, parents who were terrible communicators, then also grew up to kind of be, you know, have a lot more troubles with that and kind of, like, harder time figuring out how to approach it. Like, one of the reasons I'm so well balanced is because I got lucky, and my mum is like she was very gentle and talked to me about things and stuff. A lot of people don't have that privilege though, you know?
It looks, in fact, like you're one movement away from being down on your knees in front of a...
Bending down to a kid's level is bad because it means you fail the green line test. True.
king. I know.
What? Bro, come the fuck on. It only looks like that if you're like cucked, right? If you're not cucked and you're able to like fucking like actually just like go down to your child and you talk to them, you can talk to them on a level where you are talking to them as the parent, even if you are like equalizing yourself in some way, you know? Like, your role doesn't totally disappear. You just frame it in like a different manner, you know? Like, you don't say everything I say always goes all the time. You have to frame it as you and me are working together, you know? You can do this, and then if you do this and you take care of it well for me, then oh god, fuck me, where was I going with this? Oh no, I'm sorry, high moment. Yeah, just work with them, you know? Create teamwork, create cooperation. That's like the #1 strategy.
You've read somewhere that you should get down to a child's level when you talk to him. Well, all I can tell you is that there's a lot of really bad parenting advice out there, and that's but one example.
This is but one example. Yeah, this is a big example of bad parenting advice.
Speak to children from an upright position. That causes them to...
This is some like incel shit. Like, this is like how incels talk about women because they're so like insecure about every single aspect of themselves that they're like, I have to control everything to be perfect and to be respected. Like, dude.
Look up to you. And that is a good thing for them and for you both. I'm John Rosemond, author and family psychologist for Prager University.
You must mug the child. Oh yeah, he does look like Chuck Miguel. He looks a lot like him. Concerning. This is from 7 years ago though, so that's why he was still alive. Oh god, okay. We have one more video to get through, and then I have to get going anyway because I need to go and buy some legal weed. Because my legal guy got back late today, and hopefully I'm still gonna be able to go and get something. Oh yeah, he said no problem. Okay, yeah. And I'm gonna go and cycle through the city at midnight later on. That's gonna be fun. And he gets to be a lawyer. Yeah. It's too much malarkey. Yeah, okay, we have one more video to get through. And that's, is your child getting enough vitamin N? And, I feel like this is probably going to be quite similar, but maybe it'll be different. And I think, oh no, it's the same fucking guy. Oh, I don't know if I want to watch him again. I don't know if I want to watch him again, folks. You know, maybe we wind things down now, huh? Maybe. I think I am tired and I do have to get going and then cycle somewhere. Yeah. Let's wind this down. Is this loud? It feels loud. There we are. How is chat? How are you folks doing? Are you having a good evening? Head hurty right now? I'm sorry to hear that, look. Make sure you drink enough water, you know. Take a painkiller if you need one, you know? Oh, God, I'm tired, man. Turns out talking for like 4 hours-ish is exhausting, but it's very fun. And stuff's going well, eh? I feel like for us, as a collective streaming community. You gonna get sleep after this? Based, as you should be. I don't know who you know who I am, but Mia was watching me at her desk and she died, but I seem cool. That's based. Yeah, Mia really liked me. She told me she wants to leave all her money and possessions to me. So if you like DM me, I can send you my bank details and we can get that sorted. You give up on this, boss? Oh no. I'm sorry. Uh-oh. I just felt we'd fall down. I like that even when you have 8 viewers at a time, we are all active chatters. Fuck yeah. It's really nice. I think we have such a great little community going here. Like I was talking to my mum about it, and she talked about how nice everyone seems as well, which is really nice. So I think I've done a good job in synthesizing a quality community. Thank you, Mia. Thank you. This is such a good crowd. I mean, literally something like that. Yeah. Excited for this channel and community? Me too, you know? I feel like we have potential here, you know? Does your mom know about me? She's probably seen you. I haven't talked about you explicitly. But I really enjoy this community. I'm glad, Mia. Yeah, we have a really good thing going. I'm hoping, if we continue to, you know, promote the right values and stuff, and we continue to treat each other well, then I think our community will continue being like that. Does she know about you? I'm not sure. I might have mentioned you once. I'm not sure. Yeah. You are Barack Obama. Congratulations, Abe. Does she know about you? She knows about you, Salted. She does. Your mum knows about me? That's terrifying. I hope she likes me. Oh my god, folks. Okay, look. I am Barack Obama, okay? I win. Do we like the soundboard, by the way? I'm having good fun with it, but I can't tell if it's like obnoxious or not. Who is Mia's Carla Fake Cell? Yeah. I'm sorry, CJed. I actually like that. Whoa! Your mum watched one of my VODs? Base? Mia mum Karl Marxist confirmed? Real? That's so base of her actually though. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh man. I'm so pleased. We're doing great, and I appreciate you all so much. Like genuinely, as I've said a few times before, you folks are the engine that keeps this running. If I didn't if I didn't have like a very entertaining and you know, nice chat to talk to, this would be so boring. This would be so boring. But now I have like an actual like community of people that I find funny and I like a lot, and I'm so fond of all of you. So thank you. Wouldn't want to show my mum to you. You are too queer. Wow, thank you. You're carrying the streams. Okay, watch it. Alright, watch it. I am putting in the effort here. Okay. Debate Sargon to force him to give up the name of Carl. Oh yeah. I gotta, there can only be one. There can only be one. We will make sure every new viewer gets bullied into being an active chatter. No, please don't. Okay, alright folks, I'm gonna wrap it up now. I have to go do my legal stuff. But I'll see you kind folks around. Next stream, hopefully on, shit, what day is it today? Today's Sunday. Hopefully Tuesday. I'll announce it as per usual, like an hour-ish before, if I remember in time. But yeah, thank you very much for being here. I care about you all very much and I appreciate you. So, take care. Bye-bye.